I type OBLOLOSSOLSS Tarkov, and Google will figure it out.
Obdolbos.
Is it Obdolbos or Obdolbos?
I don't know. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast, a show dedicated to talking about all the Pogcast things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I'm one of your co-hosts, JesseKazam.
And I'm Veritas, and the kid's dead. I don't know why that just came to mind.
Dead?
The kid's dead. This is like a meme. Like, I don't even know. It might have been limited to just the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe podcast. I'm not really sure, but there was this woman who was one of those psychic. I'm using air quotes, like psychic, medium, whatever. And she, for the longest time, was like getting involved in all of these criminal cases, like getting hired by like attorneys and like detectives to like, solve all these fucking murders and whatever. And I forgot her name. Damn, it sucks. I forgot her name. But there was this one case where she basically was like on television and like told the parents of this kid that was missing, like, your kid's dead. And then like a couple weeks later, the kid turns up fine.
Oh my God.
It's like and I just remember them, like, because she was like, a kind of a bigger, older lady that kind of had a little bit of a gruff voice. So they'd constantly just be like, the kid's dead. The kid's, sorry, your kid's dead.
Damn.
God, I forget what her name is. I'll have to find out. What a witch. I don't know why that just came into my head. I just wanted to say, and the kid's dead.
It's nice that our little secret project is finally out. Our cover of Linkin Park in the end.
Bro, okay, now that, I wonder if, so much for subtlety, I wonder if he did some more training on my voice, because listening to, I felt like I thought I might have been biased, because you know how we always feel like our voices sound weird to us? The thing is that, like, that used to be a thing, but I've done enough voisover of my own shit and videos that, like,
we've
it's no
heard
longer
our own
weird
voices so much.
Nobody's heard my own voice more than me. You know what I mean? So when I heard the one he did where he took the intro to like last week's podcast and flipped it so that my voice,
my God,
the AI, it was an AI trained on my voice, was speaking over Jesse, and then Jesse's voice was speaking over me.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was just me or not, but it seemed like it was pretty unanimous that your voice was 100% like, I don't believe it was AI. I believe you sat and recorded it manually. My voice was me. I feel like it was me pitched up like half a step combined with sealable bag. Or like it was some very minor. There was a couple of inflection little bits that were maybe like a part of your very, and you don't really have an accent.
No, but I think that's it. I was like, I think we talk like, especially when I'm in it, I talk in like a different like register, even of my, like when I'm like just
your voice was a little lower.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I'm just like talking like normal, but when I'm like presentation talking, I think I take it higher. So I think that was part of it, just the way I inflect words. What's funny is that in the Linkin Park thing, yours sounded spot on when you were rapping. I was like, I feel like that Veritas learned these lines. And
bro, that's what I'm saying. So what he said was he trained the original one, the AI on like, it was like twice as much on your voice that on my voice.
Okay.
Which is he thought was maybe why mine wasn't so. Yeah. It sounded more like a friend of mine from high school. Actually.
Dude.
But there were also periods where I'm like, yo, that sounds like me, and it wasn't at first. I didn't even realize that it was me. I thought it was like you, and I literally thought it was you, and like I couldn't tell if it was like a mixture of like geeks. Sealable, like I don't know if there was some like Canadian mixed in there, like maybe Terrence and Phillip he used as in the training algorithm, but then I think he must have done some more training, because dude, it's just wild. It's literally Linkin Park in the end with me doing the rapping, and Jesse doing the singing. but AI trained on our voices,
Yeah.
and it sounds exactly like if we were
Yeah.
if we would do it, it would not sound as good.
Yeah. Yeah. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Like now I'm not even gonna do covers anymore. I'm just gonna have AI train
Dude.
on my voice do the covers.
Veritas had bars. Yeah, it was so funny. It was so funny.
And it even like dubbed like panned and doubled your voices. Like I don't know
Yeah.
if he did like any music
I don't
production
know.
stuff there or if that was like the tool, but you were doubling, like your vocals were doubled
Yeah. Dude.
in like the way that you want to double, because you can't just take audio. You can't take audio and double it. And then just like pan one to the left and one to the right and expect that to sound like bigger
No.
or wider. You cannot do that because of like phasing and it just ends up being weird and sounds shitty and flat and whatever. But what you can do is play exactly the same thing at the same time, but because there's always a subtle difference in how you pluck the strings or how you sing, that it's not enough to where you end up with phase issues. Because what happens with phase issues is you look at the waveform, and if the waveform goes up like this, what happens is if you have like another waveform at the same time that has the same exact thing, the wave kind of cancels itself out, which is actually really cool. My dad's like a genius when it comes to this stuff, and he explained to me that's how they do one of the more common techniques for how they make like those karaoke tracks.
Oh, yeah.
Because very often what they have is they might have like either they can isolate the vocals with like EQing or whatever. Or they have the actual acapella track, and then they have the full song. And what you can do is you take the vocals, you put it over the song, and then you invert the phasing, and the vocals cancel out the vocals, and it just sounds like there's a band playing, and there's no
unreal. Yeah.
There's no vote. It's crazy.
Yep. Dude, that stuff, I mean, when we did music stuff and we were like setting up for events and like how you have to arrange your subwoofers in a certain way, because if you don't do it the right way, then they cancel each other out, and you have all these huge subs, and you're like, where's the bass? And it's because the phase is weird and there's no bass. And dude, it's like, that stuff is fascinating.
That's why the people who play like live concerts, and why like part of why I hate live stuff, they're all about like, yeah, man, you got to have all this, analog, you got to have real amplifiers, and you got to get them. And it's like, you put the microphone in the wrong place at the wrong distance at the wrong point.
Yeah.
You run into phase and it just sounds like shit. And I wouldn't even know how to identify. Like, fuck that, dude. I just plug into my laptop and it sounds better than anything.
Yep. Yeah.
Sorry.
So, but the in the end podcast cover was S tier. The ones where our voices flipped was really brain melting, because you were just like, what's happening? That was good.
I freaked my wife out, dude. At first she was like, she didn't care. It was one of those things where she like, I would say something at night and we're in bed, and she's like, pause the video, and she's like, what? I tell her something uninterested, and then she's starts playing the video, and I'm like, oh, I gotta show you something. She's like, pause the video, like, what? And I started playing it, and I could tell she was like, did a little bit of a double take, like and kind of rolled her eyes and was like, oh, that's weird, and then just kind of continued on. But it got her for a brief moment.
For a minute.
She was like, yo, that actually is kind of fucking creepy.
Oh, man. So good. So what's up, man?
Bro. Well, a couple things.
Okay.
One, our homie Uneventful Gaming just got married last weekend.
Oh, that's so sick.
Yeah, just got married.
Freaking congrats.
Beautiful couple. And then on a completely unrelated note, I was traveling over the weekend, drove down to North Carolina for a friend's wedding.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, completely unrelated. It just so happened to be
the same day as
same day of the venue.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a really good time.
That's sick.
Dude, North Carolina is so fucking nice.
Yeah, it is. It's gorgeous.
But we did all that driving. I'm still kind of a little worn out from it.
How long?
It's 12 hours total. So we drove to Jersey, and then so I had like a pre-op appointment at like 5:00 on Friday, and the wedding was like 6:00 Saturday.
Damn.
or whatever. So it
Yeah.
was like, got out of my appointment, drove to Jersey, went to bed, woke up at, butt crack of dawn, and then drove from Jersey straight into North
Damn.
Carolina, showered, realized I don't fit into my suit anymore. So I put on a couple of pounds since my wedding. So I had to.
Damn.
I didn't button my pants, but
Bro,
luckily,
sometimes
luckily the belt,
and then you just unbutton the pants and you're chilling.
Yeah, I mean,
Chilling.
the thing is that like I just don't have a 28-inch fucking waist anymore.
Yeah.
I'm more 31-ish.
I feel you, man.
Get the dad bod without being a dad. Which is life goals.
Life goals. Yeah. We all eventually want to end up at dad bod.
But one of the more interesting things that's relevant to that is before we left, I basically binged the Silo.
Yes.
All of season 1.
Yes.
And then on the way down and back, me and Meg listened to the book. There's 3 books.
Yeah.
So, okay, first of all, there's 3 books. So, of course, I finished the season and I'm like, I need more. I just want more. And found out there were books.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, there's like 3 books. Maybe that's like 3 seasons, or maybe like the first book is like, half of the first season or something like that. And first of all, my wife listens to books on tape at like 2x speed.
That's how I watch YouTube videos.
Bro, I don't. It might even be. She might even listen faster. All I can say is that I lie in bed. She's downstairs listening to the book on tape, and all I hear is. And I'm like, what the fuck? Is there like a snake or a bird in my house? And I go downstairs, and it's all it is like the
S sounds
the S
fast
sounds when it's like that's how fast they're talking. And my wife sits the book in her hand and reads along with the book at like 2.5x because she likes having the book and the tactile, whatever. But at the same time, it's just way easier to.
She listens and reads at the same time.
Part of it, like she likes to also have the books and to have like the the collection of the books. I wonder
if like comprehension goes way up if you're hearing it and seeing it. Because like
I'll read an entire page, get to the end, and be like, I read the words, but I wasn't.
That is
paying
literally
attention.
me. I genuinely like. I say I can't read. Obviously, I can read, but I can't read. I can't sit down to read. I get 17 words in, and I'm gone. You know what I mean? I might go through 20 pages, but I'm gone. I have 0 retention. So to be able to hear it, and you do read faster than people talk. So I understand, turn the speed up. And if you can kind of sync that up a little bit, I bet it just keeps you focused. Damn. I wonder if like comprehension goes way up if she does that. That's actually crazy.
Dude, and we were listening at like 1.25 or maybe 1.5 speed. And she's like, it's so slow.
That's crazy.
For me, there was actually a lot of like, it wasn't really a big deal, but there were a couple moments where I'm like, man, some of the tension was lost. That like, when someone is like, when there's like a pregnant pause in the middle of like a tense moment, when someone's like says something, they take a beat.
Yep.
And then they say something else. When there's no break in between.
Yeah.
It's like, it loses all the tension. So a lot of those moments happen when, but I mean, I don't need the tension, when I'm hearing it, I, picture in my head. Anyway. So we got, on the way down and back, we ended up getting about 60 or 70% of the way through the first book.
Oh, okay.
And if I had to guess, I would say that I'm like halfway through season 2.
Yeah, okay. It's funny because I did the same thing with Dune. Like I watched the Dune movie, the recent one, and I loved it. I love that movie. I loved Denis Villeneuve. And I just consumed so much content. Like I know what happens in every book. Like I just like spoil it all. You know what I mean? I go through and I watch like breakdowns and everything. And so I did the same thing. I finished Silo and I was like, I knew there were books. So I was like, So I like read a bunch about like what happens and stuff. I really liked the show. I felt like it got a little slow in the middle, but I liked it a lot.
It's really interesting. Normally what happens is the TV shows take out a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
because they have to fit more in, right?
Yeah.
And you lose a whole bunch of context and all. And they added
Yeah, that's
way
what
more in.
I'd read, that they like really almost like didn't want to skip past. They almost wanted to like show what life in the silo was like and really like get you to feel that before they sped into the bigger, like grander themes and conspiracies and stuff. Yeah, that's
like, there's 10 episodes, and I think like the first 5 episodes or whatever like follow a different set of characters kind of than the second 5.
yeah.
And like, but if you looked at like the first half of the book, I would say is season 1. It was like 10% of the was like 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Which was just really bizarre because it was like
It's normally the opposite. Yeah.
They skipped over all of this stuff, and they combined multiple characters, which was another thing. There was a couple cases where it was like in the show there was this one guy over here that was like, had this thing that he was doing, and then there's this other person over here that was like a love interest, and they were 2 separate people with 2 different kind of things.
Yeah.
In the book, actually no, sorry, that's how it was in the book. In the show, those were the same person.
Yeah, interesting.
But it spent 5 times longer with that person, like fleshing out. But yeah, the show is really, really, really good.
Really good. Yeah.
I can't wait to see more of it. I had a little bit of like an epiphany, which this is probably like anybody who's ever taken a literary class is going to be like, yeah, no shit, dude. Like this is probably super obvious. But thinking about like all of my favorite stories, all of the best, movies, whatever, there's like really one thing in common amongst all of them. And it's people have either a combination of like human nature,
Yeah.
like an inbuilt desire to do X.
Yeah.
It might be curiosity, it might be exploration, it might be love, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or just in general, the desire for like people to want to pursue what they want to do.
Yeah.
And the conflict of somebody preventing them from doing that thing. Like that's basically the core of like every fucking story.
Yeah.
Is just, like name a movie. Just name a fucking movie. Let's test this theory.
Oh god.
Because originally I was thinking, like if you look at all of the kind of similar-esque genre where it's like sort of post-apocalyptic, dystopian, you've got like the 1984s, and you've got like the what's the one with cat piss never clean,
Hunger Games.
Like my wife likes a lot of those types of movies as well, which I keep trying to get her to read 1984, but like those are all about like wanting to have the freedom to pursue the things you want and having people say like no.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've seen I went through this like class way back in the day, and it was on like the art of story, and how like almost every single story follows like the same one of 3 formats. You know what I mean? It's like, you have a character who is confronted with a problem, who meets a guide that provides them a solution, and they execute on that solution, and that either ends up in success or failure. Like, but that formula,
and then the character growth along the way,
and like, and then you watch every thing, like the easy ones is like Star Wars. You got Luke, and he is confronted with a problem. He meets his guide Yoda, and they attempt
meets Jar Jar, and then
100%
becomes a Sith.
And so like, yeah, it's called the hero's journey. Yeah, that's it. And it's like almost everything kind of revolves around that. But yeah, no, I thought Silo was really good. My thing is like, dude, there's so many good concepts out these days for shows and movies and stuff like that. Like my thing is always just like, does it take itself seriously? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to put it other than that. There's probably a better way to put it, but like just whatever a show or a TV show, a show or a movie sets out to do, is like the logic followed all the way through. I hate when like so many TV shows, they have this like really strong concept. Like pilots are cheap now. You can come up with like such a good pilot for a TV show and you're like, oh my God, this is so sick. And then almost immediately you see these left turns where it's like either the writing is just like lazy and weird or whatever. A great example right now is The Witcher. I don't know if you've watched any of that. Dude, okay. So like I'm watching season 3. The TLDR of it all is I can't even get through it. It is just snooze fest. It's awful, dude. I hate it. And do you know anything about what happened with like the Witcher series and Henry Cavill and all that kind of stuff?
All I know is The Witcher 3 is the only game I've ever refunded on Steam.
Wow. That is a hot take.
Not because it's not good. I started it was on the list of like I needed a game and it was on every list for greatest game, greatest top 5 games.
Yeah.
But I never played a Witcher game.
Yeah.
And just getting into it and playing the first 10 minutes, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know who these people are. I'm not sucked in. And I'm like, I'm not gonna have the time to play it. And I want my $70 back.
Yeah.
If it wasn't $70, if it was $20, I would still have it installed.
Nowadays, I'm sure you can get it for $20. Yeah. So anyways, I loved The Witcher. I only ever played The Witcher 3, by the way. I'm not like a Witcher fan through and through. I only played The Witcher 3. Anyways, once again, TLDR, they're making a show. Everyone's hyped because everyone loves The Witcher. And they cast Henry Cavill. And everyone's like, Henry Cavill is an L. This show sucks. Or like he sucks for that. And then the first season came out and they were like, oh my God, Henry Cavill's the best Geralt of Rivia you could have ever casted. It was the best thing ever. And it turns out that's when like everyone was falling in love with Henry Cavill because he's such a nerd and he builds his own gaming PCs and he's like, I've played through The Witcher 3 like 5 times. That's why I'm super excited to play this character. Like I've read all the books. I do all this. And anyways, first season comes out and it was like really cool. It was like, it wasn't the best TV ever, but you were like, it's really cool. And you can see them getting their footing. And then season 2 was like, okay. And then before this season came out, season 3 just came out before Henry Cavill announced he's leaving the show and they're just recasting him. Huge Netflix show. They're just like recasting the main character. And it turns out
how is that show not been canceled and so many other good shows have been?
And it turns out he left because like basically when he was asked about it, he said, my commitment to the show was for 7 seasons as long as the showrunners were committed to telling good stories.
Oof.
God, and then it came out all this stuff that like the director and the showrunners were talking about how they were like Henry was hard to work with. He was a nuisance because he cared so much about the source material. And everybody was like, what?
This guy was troublesome because he wanted to make our dog shit
show
better.
Troublesome because he wanted to make a good show. And
someone's career is going to get ended and it's not going to be his.
No. He just dipped. And this dude, and it's just like, oh, that was such a tangent. But all that to say, like, that's a good example if you watch that show of like, just like, it feels like completely abandoning themes and thoughts and styles and motifs that you then set up. Like, I'm not married to any particular genre. 2 of my favorite shows I've seen in the past 5 years have been House of the Dragon and Ted Lasso, right? Completely different ends of the spectrum, but they felt like shows that respected what they said they were going to do in the beginning, like in the first few episodes through. Now House of the Dragon only has 1 season, but like that's what I'm talking about. It's like I'm not married to one genre. It can be a comedy, it can be this, but it's like I hate when you can just tell that the writing is just like completely abandoning its own themes, or just like people start talking differently than they used to. Like that stuff just takes me out so much. And I thought Silo did a really good job. Like it just felt grounded and it felt like it was taking itself seriously, all the stories and all the characters, and it was cool. I liked it.
I'm such a sucker for anything that's like the dystopian future where you're not allowed to be curious or ask questions.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker because I would be the first one to get thrown into the grinder, right? Like, because I can't not be like, you guys aren't wondering like what's going on.
Yeah.
Nobody's thinking about, I'd be the one that would be like, hey man, have you been thinking about the thing? And they'd be like, yo, hey, get over here. He's a thought criminal. You got a thought criminal. And I'd get taken away in the burlap sack and you'd never see me again.
I like it.
Oh, that infuriates me.
And I saw the other one you put on here, Severance. Oh my God, give me season 2 right now in my veins.
Oh, well, I almost had a heart attack because my fucking barber, who I still have to talk to because I'm mad, he was like, yo, guess what show just got canceled? And I'm like, what? He's like, Severance. I'm like, what? I'm like, no fucking way. First night, 1899, and then Severance. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I was pissed for like a week. And then I'm like, yo, I got to go check this. And I Googled it. And so there's a writer's strike.
There's a writer's strike. Yeah.
So it's on hold.
Yes.
But it was like,
yeah, definitely
bro,
not.
What kind of fucking debate? Like
that would be, that would be brutal. They would never cancel that. That was like one of the #1 rated shows for forever. Apple TV needs that.
But yeah, so
I heard that. I heard it was on hold, which made me sad because the writer's strike. Now, obviously, the writers should get paid. I'm not mad the writer's strike is happening. They should get paid what they're owed. But I'm just saying, I heard that and I was like, damn.
I hate to say this because, like, you know, people in their jobs and everything, like, you know, it's hard out there. But like,
give me,
yo, when ChatGPT 5 just came out, like, now's not the time to like fucking go on writer's strike. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God.
That's all I'm saying, dude. Like, you have a job that has just been demonstrably shown to be major risk due to the AI. Like, the
oh my God, bro.
So like, what?
Dude,
it wouldn't fucking surprise me if they couldn't just feed the fucking screenplay to ChatGPT and be like, spit out season 2. I wonder if they did that during this whole thing just to fucking spite the writers, because, you know, the executives or whoever are like pissed off at the writers, and, you know, there's always that fucking I bet you like one of them opened up ChatGPT. Well, they had to call the grandson to figure out how to use the ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But once they eventually figured it out, they just copy pasted the transcript in and were like, yo, give me season 2. And it was like, wow, this is better than what they were going to give us anyway. So
I have no idea. I have done zero research into this, but somebody literally just sent me the headline reads, the studio's AI proposal included scanning a background actor's likeness for 1 day's worth of pay and using their likeness in perpetuity without any form of pay or consent. And so I was just like, that in that realm, somebody sent me that and I was like, what does this mean? But I haven't read it yet. But like, it's like it's like Joan is awful in real life, dude. Like, oh my God. Oh my God.
So yeah, that's that.
That's that.
What's new with you? What's new with you / Tarkov land / what?
Dude, nothing is new. So actually nothing really new happened or is happening. I will say, man, the patch. Okay, so I'm pretty sure they uploaded the patch Thursday last week. They did, because I was like, I played for 8 hours, but that's all I have, right? And we like talked about it. This is the new netcode, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I have a proper week. I have a full week's worth of playtime, and I've been playing a lot. I've been playing a lot recently. And dude, okay, so once again, I know, you know, I can't say demonstrably X, Y, or Z, but I have been very intentionally in Tarkov looking for moments of desync. We played so much that I'm like looking for like, okay, like if I swing out, you know what I mean? Or if someone's shooting at me and I'm running to cover, like, you know what I mean? In these moments, I've like heightened awareness. I clip everything religiously, and I've been like looking for, like, I want to get a good clip of me dying to desync. I have one, and it happened today. In 36 hours of Tarkov gameplay, I have one clip. And it was like bad desync too today, but it happened this morning or yesterday morning or something. But like, bro, at this point, I'm full blown just saying, I think the netcode's better, not fixed. You know what I mean? Like it has improved. Exactly. And they never said, like, it's so funny how this stuff, you know, always happens. Like, they never said we're fixing the netcode. They never said we're getting rid of desync, and everything in the patch notes and all that kind of stuff. They were like, we're hoping to increase the accuracy of the position and decrease the amount of times you run into desync, right? And that is exactly what's happened based on my playtime, based on my like 35 hours of playtime since the last podcast, is I haven't died. And there have been a few times where I died and I was just like, oh, like I didn't know there's another guy, or like GG's, I thought he was to the left and he was to the right. And then chat would be like, bro, that's totally a time where you would have desync normally. And I'll be like, oh yeah, and I'd clip it and we'd watch it back. And I was like, I did a really quick peek and I didn't see him over there. And before I got behind cover, boom, you see the tracer come out and I die. And I'm like, whoa. I was like, this is exactly the type of situation where I would die 3 feet behind the wall normally. You know what I mean? And so,
And maybe have you been playing solo or with groups?
Both. I've been doing more solo streams and more solo like half streams and stuff like that. But both solo and in duos.
I was gonna say, like I noticed it was a lot easier to notice the desync just in general, or a lot of the networking issues when you play with other people, right? Because you just see the stuttery footsteps and whatever. So if you had said like, oh no, I've been playing only solo for the last month, I'd be like, no, well, maybe that's why.
Still mostly duo. Still mostly duo.
Nice. Right on.
I will say, so like this might not make sense, and this is incredibly anecdotal. So I feel like the stuttery and jitteriness of my duo has gotten worse. Like there'll be like stretches where it's like really bad, where he's like lagging a lot, or this has been happening a few times too, where his feet are firmly planted and he's just like skating, like there is no running animation, he's just like moving around, or you get these like weird little like micro vibrations. But when it's not looking bad, it looks better. So the thing, now this could be placebo, this could be my brain freaking out, but you know how we talk about all the time where like they're running, but like every step their like foot will slide back. Like they're not planted on the ground. They're just playing run and moving the character at a different speed than the run speed. So it just looks weird. Yeah. When it's not stuttery, it feels more grounded to me. It feels like a person's foot hits the ground and stays there. Like, and then it just goes, and you're like,
the animation matches. Yeah. Okay.
So it's like, it feels like when it's bad, it feels a little worse, but when it's good, it feels way more grounded. Interesting. Tower's thing about lead.
Yeah, Tower said, for what it's worth, the lead on moving targets is more in line with what math suggests it should be. I got 50-50 on moving targets in offline raids where it was staged, and 38-50 on live raids where it was not staged.
I think it means like 38 out of 50 shots. Yo, and what's crazy is one of the things I was going to say was it's funny that Tower said that, because Tower's one of the few people we would believe. You know what I mean about that? I was going to say I felt like leading targets felt better to me. Like when I'm tracking a scav and I just shoot ahead of him, he dies. Like it's felt more intuitive to me. I don't know what the math is, you know what I mean? At X number of meters, whatever, but it's felt better. I feel like I'm hitting more shots. And coincidentally,
it used to be for me, it used to be like within, like 150 meters with like a voodoo, 90% of the shots, if someone was just running horizontally, right, like perpendicular, like 90% of my shots are gonna hit, like one or two. Yeah. And like back in the day, 2018, 2019, but then like the last year I played, it was like 5% of my shots.
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
Why? You know?
I was about to say, you know what's funny? You know what's a funny coincidence, man? I have had more fun playing Tarkov this past week than in a long time, man. Like,
and you think a lot of that is just it's less
the painful
deaths, which make it less frustrating.
You know what's crazy? I'm winning so many more fights. It's like, this is all anecdotal, Veritas. So I wanna preface that with this. Like, I've tried to be as not scientific, but more objective and less emotional about just the binary answer to the question of, is the desync better? I've been trying to be like, not look at field, look at more just like, I've clipped every single desync death. I've played this many raids. I've played for this long. You know what I mean? And I feel like I have an answer to that question now. An entire weeks of gameplay. I have one clip of me dying to desync, that to me is enough to say for myself it's demonstrably better. Now the rest of this is all just like emotion. It could be placebo. I could be making it up, and I'm very aware of that. But I have had so much more fun. I have felt, you know what's funny is like we laughed about this a few weeks ago because I said this, and when I said it, I knew you were gonna laugh because I said I was like, I feel like I don't know how to PvP anymore. Like I feel like I suck, and you laughed because you were like you had shared those sentiments like a year ago where you were like, I feel like I just like either everyone got better than me or I got much worse, right? And I felt that. I have been plowing through people. I have been having so much fun. Every single one of my deaths, I can be like, I didn't see that guy over there, or I expected him to reload and he didn't. Like every single death has a reason, and I can be like, oh damn, I didn't see that coming. He got me. GG's. He hit a good shot, and every single fight, dude, I'm just like rolling. I'm like 4-mans, 5-mans. We did a raid on streets the other day. There were 11 dead bodies in the Check 15 hallway. I killed 6 of them, dude. We were just like, me and Valiant were frying, bro. It was just like, I don't know. So like, I feel like I'm hitting my shots. I feel like my accuracy has gone up. I feel like I've been one-tapping people, like, and just hitting so many more shots. The hit rate just feels good. I just feel like I'm connecting shots. I don't know. And it could be some, it's just like it's a snowball, right? Where it feels a little better, so you feel better, and the more confident you are, the better you play, and the better you play, the more confident you feel, and the more confident you feel, the better you play. So like, it could be that, it was a little change that just sparked a chain reaction. Once again, very aware, but it just feels like the hit reg feels tighter. It feels way tighter on scavs. It feels tighter on PMCs. When I shoot people in the head, they die. Almost half of the raids I've played in the past week have been with 545. Which everyone is always trashing on 545. You can't one-tap. Dude, 545, I'm cruising, just like flying through people. The raids have been so good. I've genuinely, and late wipe too. Like I normally kind of don't really care for the late wipe, just like, let me throw another slick and whatever and get an HK. Like, but it's been so fun. The PvP has been so fun.
I hate the not knowing. Like,
yeah.
When I used to play sports, I played baseball, basketball, football, lacrosse, all of the hobbies I've ever got into, whether it was different instruments or whatever, even if I'm like driving and I haven't driven in a while, right?
Yeah.
When I feel rusty or I lose or I play poorly or I get outplayed or whatever, never in my life has it ever been like, why?
Yeah.
I always know like I didn't play well.
Yep.
Or they played amazing.
Yep.
Or I'm a little rusty.
Yep.
It doesn't feel right. So
yep.
Tarkov was the only thing that has ever been like, it feels bad and I don't know why.
Yep, dude. And I'm trying so hard not to overhype it, but I genuinely am excited. I haven't felt that in a week. I haven't felt like, what the hell is going on? What happened there? You know what I mean?
What happened?
I've died to...
You know what happened?
What?
All the veterans are sick of the game. They all left.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. So I'm just flying through scrubs.
So there's 5% of the player bases. The game's dead. Kid's dead and the game's dead. So the server,
performance,
a little bit of the server is the performance is way better, right? And you're just cruising through the noobs, and that's why it feels better, and that's why you're winning fights.
Realistically, it could be. Now, I can pull up my dog tag case right now. I've been fragging on some level 50s to 70s. Like I
bought my account.com.
Yeah. But man, I am telling you, like, I know that feeling. I've been feeling it so intensely this wipe specifically and last wipe, and that feeling is just gone as of this past week. Now,
I hope it stays that way.
I hope it stays that way. And that's the thing, right? It's like, I'm not trying to freaking ride BSG. Like, it could all break tomorrow. They could push a patch and it could break. 14.0, when I read the patch, the roadmap for 14.0, I still get 100%, 50% like excited and 50% like, there's no way this is not going to break the game. It's too many new features, right? So like, I'm not married to it, but all I know is that like right now, brother, right now, it feels good. I'm not wondering why I'm dying. The raids are fun. Now, every once in a while we get really dead raids. Like when I hop on early in the morning, it's super dead raids and stuff like that. But when the raids are full, when they're full of PMCs, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want to overhype it. If you haven't played Tarkov in a while and you were considering it, hop into a few raids. You know what I mean? I still think people's and I understand that this happens with me too. So this isn't an aggressive thing, but people obviously just like lead with their emotions, right? Like if you've been having an awful wipe and you're just like hate BSG and you hate everything, like you're gonna find a way to hate it. And if you're like, BSG can't do anything wrong, like you're gonna be like, it's so much better. I'm trying my hardest to be in the middle. I'm sure I have, XYZ biases or whatever, but dude, it feels good. It feels good, bro. Now there are, first of all, did you see that friendly guy's tweet, the video he did?
Was it about Tarkov?
Testing desync. Yeah. It was like a 60 second.
I saw him finish only up with a dance mat.
Yes. I saw that too.
Which honestly, does anything else really fucking matter?
No, he just wins.
And honestly, there's still a part of me that's still so bonkers that part of me thinks it could be a fake, and I need to go back and see. Like, for all I know,
he had a controller in his hands.
He did the whole thing. No, he did the whole thing on keyboard on stream and was like, it would be funny if I plugged in the mat and did the mat for the last 5 seconds of it.
He looked like he had gotten a workout in. I believe he did it.
I mean, bro, like I was playing pinball with my wife. We went to this arcade in North Carolina when we were down there, and I mean, like, I was just standing up playing like skee ball and shooting at bro. Yeah. I don't know how the fuck he did that,
bro. Yeah, it's crazy. Anyways, he did a video where it was a really clever way to test desync. It's not like this is the definitive, you know what I mean? But it was just like a clever way to test it. So basically what he did was it was him and a buddy in an online raid. And he had they found an open area and he walked backwards. So he just held S, right? He just walked backwards. And he told his buddy, he was like, get behind me and shoot me in the back. But like try and not like run and just shoot me, but like try and like get behind me and shoot me in the back. And he did it before the patch. And he was on a high ping server because I think he's like in EU or he doesn't have access to it. So his ping was like 120 or whatever. And he talked about it. And the dude, his friend walked up and his friend was 4 feet in front of him. And he was like, wait, do you want me to shoot? And he was like, yeah. And he was shooting and hitting friendly guy. Here, I'll send it to you so you can, and I'll put it in the chat too. But basically the desync was so bad that the guy was behind him, even though on friendly guy's screen, he was in front of him.
Oh, that was the old server?
That was the old server on 100 plus ping. And then he did it again after the patch uploaded. And it wasn't great, but it was like a lot better. Now, that's not the definitive, right? Like, this is perfect. The servers are great. You don't have to worry about it anymore. But you can see the guy's gun get barrel stuffed when he's in front of him, like by friendly guy. And then he did it again on after, and it was just better. It was just a really clever way to test like the positional desync between two players, two different clients connecting to the server at the same time. It was super interesting.
That's wild.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I'm like trying to run through my head how that all works.
Now, once again, those were higher ping, but on lower ping, it'll be better anyway. And it was like a lot better. So that was interesting. That was just like a little interesting.
Huh.
Interesting. It was a clever way to test that because that's the kind of stuff we feel where, like, especially in close quarters battles when you're both moving, you're like, what the hell? Like what you see did not match. Like, how did he shoot me in the back of the head? How did he shoot me? You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, it can be that bad. If the guy you're playing with has 80 ping or 100 ping, it's like, it can be pretty bad. Now, the patch feels good, and that's what we want Tarkov to be, right? We want Tarkov to feel good. However, it definitely is not without its bugs. So we talked a little bit about how, like last week, about how the silent nades. It's weird. I actually don't think I've encountered a silent nade since we talked last. They've done 2 or 3 hotfixes since the patch, so I actually think that they are like addressing some of these things. The memory leak is still pretty bad, but it's better. But it's still, well, because once again, it's probably not the memory leak, right? But the effective memory leak is better. Dude, this is a new one. This has happened on multiple maps, as a solo and with groups. Dude, so I have my FPS counter up because everybody's like, how's the FPS? How's the FPS on streets? How's the FPS on streets, right? I'll be, so 4090, 13900K, 32 gigs of RAM, beefcake of a PC. I'll be on streets and I'll be like, oh, why is it? So I'll pull up the FPS counter, 30 frames per second. And I'm like, bro, this is brutal. If anybody in my general area, including myself, shoots a gun, my FPS goes up to 120, and then over the course of 6 seconds falls back down to 30. And if I put my gun on semi-auto and just tap, 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 and look around, it's smooth as butter, 120 frames per second. Stop shooting, all the way back down to 30. Bro, scuffed, bro. I don't know what the hell. I don't know how that happens.
Only thing I can think of, and this is one of those things, where if I had been working at BSG for like 4 years and I heard that, I would be like, I know exactly what that is.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Because you know how these systems are interrelated,
For sure.
And, whatever. But so, first thing that comes to mind for me is sometimes with networking, there are like a priority queuing system.
Yeah.
When certain things happen, the game is like, I got to render this first. I have to, put this stuff in the background.
Yeah.
I need to send these packets first.
Yeah.
So it's possible that one of those, like, either secondary or background tasks, whether it was networking related or like graphics related.
Yeah.
It's possible that one of those things is scuffed.
Yeah.
And bogging everything down, and then when you shoot, because it's such a high priority thing, it puts that into the background.
Interesting.
And all of a sudden the game's like, cool, and then you're done shooting, and the game's like, okay, get back to this fucking shitty system.
Like the ambient noise system could for some reason be scuffed and sucking up all your frames, but when bullets are flying, the game knows to be like, screw ambient noise, bullets, and then whoop. And then when there's no shots, that's just an example.
Actually a really good potential thing is the noise. Because we were talking last week or the week before about how that's the way that a lot of sound works in these games.
Yeah.
You don't get to just say, play this audio. You have a file and you say, hey, audio subsystem, or in the operating system or whatever, please play this thing. And then it cues it and it handles,
Interesting. Yeah.
So
that's super interesting. Yeah, that like the game basically knows when bullets are being fired. That's the most important thing, and so some other scuffed system gets moved to the background. Okay, so it's like me, who's like such a nerd, right? Like I would have no idea, right? Or sorry, me who has no idea about game development or anything like that. I would just have like no idea. It freaked me out. The thing is though, So, and the reason it's important to like figure these things out is because like so many people have been talking about like losing FPS or like not having good FPS or the patch ruined my FPS or something. And basically, I think a lot of people have had that bug and haven't known. Because if you Alt F4 and reconnect to the game, like if I also before I reconnect to the game, I have 140 frames per second. Like, and now that would clean up a memory leak too, whatever. But I think a lot of people have had that particular bug, whatever it is, and then just attributed it to this patch ruined my FPS. Because I had that bug on woods too, not just streets. So like people are like, oh, my FPS sucks. This has no idea. And if they didn't know that, like, which obviously they wouldn't know, but if they didn't know, then they'd be like, oh, the FPS in this patch just sucks. When it's not every raid, it's just some raids you catch this bug. And if you get that bug, your frames are absolute garbage. So it's been really interesting. But like that is one. We've had a ton of the, you know how like when you go to your inventory, like you have your hands on your gun, you like put your gun to your side in one hand and like one hand just goes up. You know what I mean? Yep. I've a ton of people just stuck in that pose. I was on Shoreline, I like ran up and I saw a guy and I backed up from him and I turned on my flashlight and he was like this and he just like looked at me and shot me and killed me. And like the bullets were just like coming from his chest. And I was like, what the hell? That's been happening even to scavs. You see, the scav will have the busy hands bug. It's super weird. Like will be in their inventory and just shoot you from wherever. The bullets just magically appearing. I'm trying to think if we've had any other bugs. Super common. Yeah, I don't know. Just weird stuff. We've had some weird stuff. But yeah, the audio still fried, but I haven't had as many silent nades. Yeah, there was we talked about that last week where the flashbang blew up like 3 seconds after.
Oh yeah,
and I don't know why. Some looting stuff where, you know, you can't loot this person's. I had like a weird thing where I like duplicated something today. Like Valiant brought me my kit and he ditched it, and while I was searching it, I like moved a CMS kit and it duplicated it. And then every time I would move one of the CMS kits, both of the CMS kits would move. Like the one I would click and drag would move from where it was to where I put it, and the other one in my bag would just move to a random other cell in my bag. Like it was super weird. But then if you just like tab out and tab back in, it's gone. Like just like weird bugs like that. But nothing crazy. We talked a little bit last week about how I felt like I did notice the increase in scavs. I feel like they increased the amount of scavs everywhere, but they definitely did on streets, and they listed it as like increased the entities. They increased the amount of players too. It used to say up to 17 players. Now it says up to 20. So like the actual player count didn't go up a lot, but the scavs, dude, Desmond posted a clip and it was the end of his raid. Did you see this?
No, I was on Twitter.
He had killed 80 scavs in one streets raid. 80. He was in just like until 2 minutes left, and he was going everywhere. I tried it today, this morning. I got 60. I got 60 scavs in one raid. Desmond got 80. He had 55k XP. Tiggs ended up doing it, and he got 83. Like, it's plausible that you could hit 100 scavs in one raid. But like they just, dude, they're everywhere and they keep respawning, and it's so sick because stuff is starting to happen like we've talked about, where like,
I mean, that's what we've said for so long. How yes. As long as they're like legit dumb bots, exactly. and they're not busted. They can be challenging, right? But as long as they're not absurdly overtuned, then having a million of them is fucking awesome.
Awesome, and that's exactly what's happening. I don't know this, but it feels like their accuracy got turned down. They're hitting me a lot, but I haven't been one-tapped. Like I haven't like just insta-died to frickin' a scav in a while. So like what we've always talked about is happening, where like you'll be in a fight with a PMC and like a scav will start shooting at him or a scav will start shooting at you, and then you have to change the fight because you're like, I can't hold this angle. This stupid scav is shooting at me. Now you have to move, or that happens to your enemy. You know what else has been interesting? Locating PMCs on the map has gotten easier because they're fighting more scavs. Like, it's happening. Everything we've talked about,
that's
bro.
What we said, like
is happening.
It is a what's the word I'm looking for? It it
like a catalyst.
It's a catalyst for PvP.
Yep.
You know, because now it's not just you have to cross paths and see the other person at the same place at the same time, right? It's now you can more actively decide to pursue or avoid, depending on if you're doing the guide or if you want PvP, or if you got, you want to loot.
And it's affecting other things too, right? Like a huge thing is like ratting. Everyone's always talking about ratting. Everyone's in bushes, nobody's moving. Well, if like you never know how many times the fighting you heard was a guy that was setting up to just like rat, and a scav shot him because the scavs don't see bushes, right? And then that puts him out, and then now you cross paths with him. You know what I mean? Or like, just because so often, if you're traversing the map, especially with how headphones work right now, you're just like broadcasting your location in 100 meters in every direction, right? So it's like somebody hears you, but the amount of times this week I have been, okay, dude, once again, it's happening, Veritas. Like, the amount of times this week we've been in a fight and I've been like, there's 4 of them. I don't know how many are scavs. Like, I'm in a fight, like I kill one and we don't know how many there is, and then we hear running. And because the scavs will full sprints now, I'm like, dude, there's a ton of people and I don't know which one's a PMC. You know what I mean? Like the amount of times I've been like, there's one more. And I hear a bunch of stuff and I turn it to scav, or vice versa. I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure that's a scav, and I swing it and it's a PMC. Like, something that simple, doubling the amount of scavs in the raid, affects the entirety of the in-raid experience just in ways you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
In so many ways, right? Not just like, oh, there are more scavs, I get more XP. In so many ways. They spawn earlier, so immediately, like so much more often this week, I've heard fighting on the map, maybe not right in front of me, but on the map within the first 30 seconds. And you're like, oh, there's a guy over there. So it's giving you that information. I've gotten more XP from raids killing them. You get more opportunity to like get extra meds or whatever. It is a catalyst for PvP, for me chasing down PvP. It's made PvP fights weird because maybe I go for a flank and then they ruin my flank, or the person goes to retreat and then the scavs tell me, like, something that simple changes everything, whether you want PvP or not, right? Like, oh my God, dude. So the new scavs, I've been back to just like perma running streets, dude, because it's got the most scavs on it, and it changes the game so much. And they increase the boss spawn chance to like 20% on those maps. So like Killa and Gluhar spawning so much more frequently.
I would just be it sounds like what I would be doing is like playing gun game on streets.
Oh yeah.
Because when there's 80 scavs, like when you turn on factory PvP, like PvE horde mode offline, playing gun game is like the ultimate warm-up practice training, where it's like you pick up a Vepr, half of a magazine, you kill a guy, you pick up his Saiga, you kill a guy, he's got an empty fucking Makarov, you pick it up, you're like, shit, I need to reload, you go back. It's so much fun, and doing that somewhere outside of, like in a real environment would actually be a lot of fun.
It's so fun, man. Oh, so like rare, super positive vibes from Tarkov recently. The patch, dude, has just been feeling good. It's been feeling delicious. Let me tell you about something else that's delicious. Veritas. I want to take a second and thank the first sponsor of our episode tonight, and that is HelloFresh. HelloFresh. Hey, Fresh. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. And it's awesome. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. HelloFresh is a longtime partner of the podcast, and we love it. It's a product that I can just so vehemently, personally vouch for, because I used it and I use it and have used it for so long. And it's awesome. The big thing for me as a consumer is flexibility and the ability to customize the experience to you, how quickly and easy it is. You can customize that experience with how many meals you get, what your priorities are in your meals. Do you want extra protein? Do you want things that can be cooked in 15 minutes or less? Do you want vegan? How many meals do you want? Do you want to take a week off because you're on vacation or XYZ and then resume the next week? So it just feels like a very consumer-friendly experience. And then obviously the food is delicious.
Bro, when we got back from North Carolina, the first thing we did was like we were sick of fast food, right? And from
Oh my
driving
God, yeah.
all the way there. So it was like, I'm hungry, but I don't want to get like Burger King, like I
Dude.
just can't. We get home and we're like, well, we were just gone for days. Like we have nothing in the, in the fridge. We haven't gone shopping. Oh, wait a minute. We do have
Yes.
a couple of things still left over from HelloFresh,
Yes.
dude. The fucking firecracker meatballs.
Oh yeah.
Homie.
Bussin'.
It's so good. And honestly, these days, HelloFresh meals are the only meals I get that are like respectable meals. I just
Dude.
don't eat healthy, but having a nice bowl with some meatballs, some green beans,
Yep.
and some rice,
Yep.
and I'm like, wow, I'm not a man child.
Dude, I feel that though. I did the subathon and we just got off the rhythm of getting it. And like the other day, bro, I had like McDonald's for lunch, and then we went to Chick-fil-A for dinner, and then I ordered McDonald's again the next day, and then we had Chipotle, and I was just like, I feel so disgusting. Like I just feel disgusting. And we had the pork burrito bowl thing tonight, which was delicious.
Oh yeah, man.
So good. So it's awesome. You can get tons of other things as well, like sides and stuff. They have stuff like snack boards, pretzel bites, spice bar nuts. They really like to go with seasons. So there's a lot of like summer focused recipes. It's really good. We love them. We use them all the time. So you can go to HelloFresh.com/Pogcast16 and use code Pogcast16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. That is HelloFresh.com/Pogcast16 and use code Pogcast16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Thank you for sponsoring this episode. Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. Oh God. So, dude, rare, just positive vibes coming from Tarkov. Now, the community is full blown, when wipe, which is fine. But like, man, it's hard because like this patch is like everything you and I have been talking about for so long. Not everything, right? But like it's helped the netcode so much, and we've talked about, and it's so funny because like it's kind of flown under the radar. Like nobody's really tweeting about it. Nobody's really making videos about it. I feel so strongly a light switch. I was such a Scrooge. I've been such a Scrooge on my stream.
Such a Veritas for so long.
On my stream playing this game for months, bro. I've just been like, I don't know, man. Just like trying to get through it. The raids have been brutal, but like, dude, a light switch for me personally. I can't speak to anybody else's experience. Maybe, the servers suck and where you are or whatever. But like my experience was like a light switch. I'm having fun raids. I feel like I'm performing well. It feels like things are better. I don't feel that like, what the hell's going on? Why am I dying? I don't understand. And it's just kind of flying under the radar. So it is what it is. I'm just enjoying it, enjoying the fact that I'm enjoying Tarkov for like thoroughly for the first time in a while, and then hoping that this is like a building block, right? Because the roadmap was, fixes, unity, and then content. And like the hope, my fear is that we do like a big content patch and it just breaks everything, right? Because they push the limits where they're like, oh, more PMCs on this map or this, that, the other, and it just goes backwards. Like I'm really hoping that it isn't. We haven't yet received the like update to the roadmap. They talked about that they were going to do a new roadmap, just like, hey, we had to push Unity, we leapfrogged this, we're going to do a new roadmap. The whole conversation around the wipe is very confusing because like we still don't have the Unity 2021. That's where some of the optimizations are going to come in. Would they wipe with that? Because there's really nothing else in that. If they don't wipe with that, when would we wipe? Because I don't feel like patch point 14 is close. That's the big one. Like I still feel like that's got to be far away.
Yeah.
So it's like people, I get it. I get why people ask me when the wipe is, right? Like we're like 10 days away from the longest wipe in Tarkov's history. Like we're close. So I get it. It's wipe time, right? Like I get people asking, but this time I don't even have like I don't know. They've debated us with all these events thinking they're pre-wipe events, but they're not. would they wipe with just the Unity, or what's going on with Arena? So like people keep asking, I understand, but I'm just like, I don't even have a guess. I don't have a best guess. Like I could point at a calendar any day between now and December 31st. And I think whatever day it is, it's just as likely as any other day that we get the wipe. Like, I really don't know at this point, which is just interesting. And I don't really care. I'm having enough fun playing right now. Does that make sense? Like, so...
You don't need the wipe.
Exactly. I just so genuinely feel that all I care about in Escape from Tarkov right now is stability. I just want the game to feel fun. So if the wipe is postponed 6 weeks or 3 months because they really want this wipe to feel good on day one, I'm fine with that, because the game feels good right now. And I think that I'm so tired of freaking invisible player bugs or no occlusion zones on maps. Like, this wipe was brutal. This wipe was really hard day one. Like, everybody coming in that's like, I just took this wipe off, man. I'm like, dude, smart decision, right? Like, I'm with you, buddy. So the game feels good right now, and I'm like, that's all I care about. I don't really care when the wipe is or whatever. I want to know, but I don't really care. We had this conversation. So it's very similar to the conversation we had with the cheater. Somebody was like, I know that all of you streamers know, and I know you just guys signed an NDA, and you can't tell. He was just like, I know, like, you don't have to have the act with me. He's like, I know that you're just under NDA and you can't tell us. And I was like, bro, I wish.
Okay.
I wish, bro. I was like, you have no idea how many like conversations I have with my wife, because I'm like, okay, if the wife happens around here, you know, we're trying to buy a house. Like, do you want to go down to see? Like, we're like trying to plan our life around, you know, me being able to make content. And he's like, I know, you don't have to lie to me. And I was like, okay, dude.
Bro, not even the people who.
Yeah, I was like, Nikita doesn't actually even know.
Yeah, like not even the people who you know, actually will say they signed an NDA actually signed an NDA.
Yeah.
Like in the same way, like I've signed a million NDAs. I've done consulting for game devs before. I have had an NDA at basically every software company I've ever worked at.
Yeah.
I was a part of the test ETS, and I tested for like 45 seconds one day.
Yeah.
But like, it must be like the terms of service. It was like some digital thing you hit accept on. It wasn't like, no, not that that's not like a real NDA.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I feel like that's almost as.
It's not watertight.
It's like in this, it's the same way as like you break the terms of service.
Yeah.
You know, like when I sign an NDA, in every situation I've ever signed an NDA, I expect to be sued.
Yeah.
If I break the NDA.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect to be sued, whether it was me or whether it was some written. I'm not saying anybody should go and, you know, sue anybody, but a total side note, because I was kind of thinking about that when we were talking about the logical thing from a couple weeks back about the NDAs, and I was just like, I never signed an NDA, and I'm like, well, maybe I clicked through a thing at one point.
I'm pretty sure
it wasn't like a DocuSign where I had my signature.
Correct. I don't think it was that, but I do think it was a really clear
end user license agreement.
I accept this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we can actually kind of like leapfrog to that, because speaking of which, Tarkov did another. They did this a while back, and we talked about it a little bit, but they did it again. They tweeted yesterday. Yep, they tweeted yesterday. This was the tweet, so I'm not freaking breaking anything. For the past few months, there have been ongoing testing of upcoming updates on the early test servers. Currently, the testing of a new matching server system is available. We invite all participants who received access to the ETS to join the server, join the testing, and leave their feedback on the Discord server. We thank players who are currently involved. Your participation and feedback allow us to quickly fix bugs that are discovered during the testing. So they did that again, which was feedback that had been directly given to them about like, let us know what's being tested. Let us know what you're working on so that the players can understand that you guys have a focus on fixing. So like my criticisms of this and what came out of this is first I'm going to acknowledge that, like, I've said that before. I've given that feedback. Like, if the players know what you're working on, that's a good thing. This is them doing that. Currently testing a new matching server system. That's awesome. I'm assuming that means how long it takes us to match into the goddamn raids, and a new system for matching would be sick. However, this has kind of like spawned not a movement, but I've just been seeing a bunch of people talk about it online since, about like the question of like, why is the ETS under NDA? Like, why is it even under an NDA? Like, a lot of people are quote tweeting this tweet being like, please just let us talk about it and play it and stream it. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I kind of feel the same way.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, I kind of feel the same way. I feel like a lot of the things that Nikita kind of wants to reserve the right to be able to like surprise people, you know, like with the airdrops and stuff. But even that, I don't think was even on. And again, I'm not speaking I'm not violating the NDA because I don't even know this information. I was not privy to any of this stuff. I didn't even fucking participate. But like, I don't recall anybody ever saying after the fact that it was in the test server. Didn't they just surprise us with that? So clearly they have like features that they don't publicly put.
That's my
weird.
thing. That's my thing too. Is I don't want to break anything or talk about anything I shouldn't. Use your brain. Do you think if some super secret, awesome new feature came to the ETS, do you not think it would be on Reddit in 7 days? In 7 seconds, sorry. In 7 seconds, that would be on Reddit, right? Like, so if they're going to be testing things on the ETS that they've told us are features that are coming, I don't really understand keeping that under an NDA. You know what I mean? Like, so we can talk about things. We can talk about things that we know that like, we don't even have to use hypotheticals. They tweeted out they were testing 13.1 on the ETS. That was the first time they tweeted that. They were like, we're testing 13.1 on the ETS. And we had a roadmap saying what was coming in 13.1. And then a few weeks later, it came. Right?
You know what?
Why did that need to be under NDA?
I got the answer for you. Because they don't want content creators making videos about how dog shit it is. If it's dog shit.
Maybe.
It's about content creators. They don't give a fuck about some random dude posting on Reddit and talking about it with his friends on Discord. They don't care, right? What they care about is some content creator who, and I'm saying like generally, I'm not actually, I'm not like hinting at anybody in particular.
Yeah.
Just anybody making a video saying, you know,
they're testing this and it sucks. You know what I mean? Like, they had the new netcode,
the
and
new
it's
audio
broken.
system is garbage, and it's totally so.
Maybe
because then it's just drama and pressure and whatever.
And here's my thing.
So they would not sue random Joe Blow, you know. And I'm not a lawyer, so if you're random Joe Blow, you know, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer.
I just realized
this isn't legal advice. I'm not a lawyer.
Isn't his name Jonathan Blow? Didn't we have him? Would
he
be Joe Blow?
Maybe.
Okay. Anyway.
But like I highly doubt. I just don't see them suing some rando, you know, but I do see them, you know, doing a DMCA or filing a cease and desist against insert streamer they don't like here for whatever reason, putting a YouTube video out, right? So at least there they have a little bit more legal ground.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I get it.
At the end of the day, dude, they like, and this is totally fine. They're allowed to be this way
for sure.
But they like to have control over
everything,
a narrative, and part of that is a little bit of cultural stuff, you know, where it's like they want control over the information. They have the right to control the information.
They do.
I'm personally not a big fan of, you know, the whole, like, I'm going to give you information and ask that you not, you know, talk about the information.
Yeah.
While at the same time, putting you in a position where people are going to constantly ask about the information and you can't even hint that you know about the information, so you basically have to lie, right? Like,
yeah,
I just don't like. I want to. If I shouldn't talk about it, then don't fucking tell me.
yeah,
you know.
Yeah. No, I get that, man, and I don't know, and that could be it. But like, here's the deal. I think it's kind of a non-issue. I think it would have been a non-issue if they launched the ETS outside of NDA. If they launched ETS with no NDA, how many years ago they did it, and they just tested these types of features. We're testing a new matchmaking system, right? You hop on, the matchmaking doesn't go any faster. Okay, it's not working. Or you hop on and the matchmaking is going super fast and you're like, oh my God, I'm super excited for this new update. When is it coming? I think that if you're going to be testing features that have already been announced, you announced you're going to be doing this feature, it already falls under the column of we're not trying to surprise you. Like, you know what I mean? I don't see why it would be under NDA. I believe that, but what I also believe is that it's too late. If they lifted the NDA, it would be so dramatic. You know what I mean? It would be such a dramatic thing that they lifted the NDA and everybody would get in there and it would just like be such a weird thing. It was just like all unnecessary drama. Like they could have just not had the NDA in the first place and it would have been fine. And whatever. And I saw a couple people be like, why even have test servers for a beta game? It's like, I don't care what you call, like the word beta means nothing. It means nothing. It just means nothing. It's just 4 letters and they mean nothing. It's a meaningless thing. Test servers are actually amazing. And I would love to see them be utilized more because whatever it is, beta, alpha, 1.0, pre-version, vertical slice, whatever you want to call Tarkov, it's a game that's live. It's a game that people can play anytime they want. So having an environment where you can push something out and have a smaller subset of your players test it and, oh no, we deleted everybody's accounts or everybody's money got deleted as a bug as a result of this thing, it just doesn't matter, right? In the test environment. So like, I think the test servers are awesome. I think the test servers were actually something that we and many people talked about before they had test servers, that we wish they had test servers. But then they made it kind of like hard to get excited about because, you know what I mean? Most people want to play Tarkov. They want to advance their characters. And then if they want to test something out on the ETS servers, they have to do that outside of that time. And they can't talk to anybody about it or they can't post about it or whatever. And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that in this case, the problem is that it's just a bunch of ambiguous, clumsy terminology.
Yeah.
Like if you just ask me, ignoring all of the caveats, all of the little asterisks, all of the whatever, I would say that Tarkov is a shipped game.
Yeah.
It's done. It might as well be 1.0, and we have a beta test server as the ETS servers for like a limited, like that universe. If that was what we called it, would make more sense conceptually on paper, however you want it. It would make more sense than what we have now, which I understand. Part of it is being a little pedantic, but but I kind of get that there is a little bit of like, there's a little bit to that argument that I kind of like can sympathize with.
Yeah.
The whole idea that you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say, this is a beta, you have to expect all kinds of issues and all kinds of problems, and you have to be okay with paying, but while at the same time paying 2 or 3 times what you might play for a 1.0 shipped finished game.
Yeah.
While at the same time there's another server that has things that they are testing.
Yeah.
It's like it's a fucking identity crisis.
Yeah.
And it's awkward.
Yeah.
And like, so I get it to whatever extent.
For sure.
I just don't give a fuck because ultimately it's people fighting over the like words that like nomenclature.
So meaningless. It's so meaningless. The people that get so butthurt. This isn't a beta. This is an alpha. This is basically a playtest. There's core features of the game that are missing. And a beta is supposed to be a finished product that you're just testing, or and then people on the other side be like, this game is basically 1.0 and we're just getting DLCs and updates. I don't care. Like, I can see merit to every single one of those arguments. And I agree with you where, like, I feel like it is more of an identity crisis on the BSG side because they label it as a beta and what X, Y, or Z, and they've been having it for so long. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, almost every single player would agree with how to move forward with the game, whatever we call it. So it seems like such a non-argument, like to argue about what to call it. And then if somebody wins and goes, it's a beta, okay, it's a beta, we would all agree, like, okay, well, these things need to be fixed. The audio needs to be better. The netcode needs to be better. And then they should. So it's like we all agree on what's after this argument. Why is this argument a thing, right? You know what I mean? So
I think what you call it changes what's acceptable and what the expectations are.
I guess that's true.
That's why people care. If this is a beta, then I'm okay with all of this jankiness. Yeah. But also, I don't want to pay triple price
for sure.
But also, I want to be able to test and have access to future things.
Yeah.
But also, I might also be okay with, maybe signing an NDA.
Yeah.
But also, don't ban us for, like, quote unquote exploiting if there's like some fucking bug that makes it so that you duplicate money and you accidentally do it because it's funny and whatever, and then you get banned. Like,
that makes sense.
Just
that's a good point.
Be consistent about what you're communicating.
Yeah.
So none of this I fucking care about.
Yeah, like, I know, but I understand what you're saying.
I'm just trying to explain, I think, why I think the argument has merit, and it's a hill that nobody should die on.
Exactly. That's a good point. I think what you call it definitely set your expectations.
Like debate club in high school, I would be vehemently excited to have this be my final project in debate club in high school. And I would never be interested in having the conversation ever again after that.
Yeah. Yeah. So just consider it a pre-alpha then. It's a pre-alpha. Anyways.
No, it's a hot mess.
It's hot
what it is.
Yeah.
What it is there's no way to describe what it is because it is a mangled up jumble of all of the things. It is Tarkov
spaghetti.
So take it or fucking leave it.
Yeah.
And quit bitching about the way it's worded and whatever, because it's been out long enough that you should know what you're getting into.
Yeah. There's
if
alpha,
you ask literally
there's
anyone.
Beta, there's spaghetti. This is a spaghetti game. All that being said, as an idiot, self-proclaimed, I think the ETS is the most successful when what's being tested on the ETS is foundational changes and optimizations to the game. Mother flipping Oculus audio would have been great to have an un-NDA'd, just like if they just like tweeted it. They were like, on the test servers, we Customs has Oculus audio. Maybe they did this. Once again, I don't even know a lot about the ETS. So if I don't know. So if I'm breaking anything, I don't know because I didn't test any of this. They could have done that, and then everybody could have played it and been like, provided, I'm sure, really valuable feedback. You know what I mean? The new matching system that they're doing, 13.1, which was the new netcode. Like in my idiot opinion, the test servers work best testing those types of things. Not like here's the new map. Like I don't think that they're doing that. I don't think they would do that. Like, you know what I mean? Here's the new gun. Like the guns always work when they put new guns in. You know what I mean? So like, what works best on the ETS is like optimizations, new technologies, new systems for doing, increasing FPS or making the audio better. And those type of things, in my opinion, also like the NDA is just so meaningless for, because nothing is being spoiled. I don't understand it. If the ETS was utilized to its fullest extent, it would be all things that are just so not even close to requiring an NDA. I don't really understand it. That's kind of my thought. Whatever, right? Like I'm not trying to start a movement or a change.org petition to like get them to lift the NDA. They're going to do whatever they want to do, and that's fine. I think the feedback we have given BSG on this podcast many times, a feedback I'll continue to give is, what type of feedback do you want from the community? tell us that and then give us the opportunity to give that feedback, right? Like we went on the tirade a few weeks ago about like bug reports and like, they
want their cake and they want to eat it too. They want to provide the ability to give feedback and then provide no mechanism and then ignore the fucking feedback.
Yeah, I don't know. So because it's the same thing with the bug reporting. Do bug reports matter? I don't know. It doesn't feel like they matter with how hard it is to report a bug and how many bugs I can report in a day and how unintuitive it is.
And how they respond to
and how they
reports.
respond to bug reports. So it just goes back to like, if you don't want bug reports, you know what I mean? Then just communicate that. If you do, give us a better way. So it's kind of the same thing with the ETS. That's I see it as an identity crisis as well. You have test servers, I would imagine, because by definition, you want things to be tested and feedback to be had, but then it's in such a way where it's like really hard to get into the ETS. I don't even know if they're taking new applicants. It's just like weird. You can't talk about it. You can't share it. Why? I don't know. It's just like, that's the kind of the feedback once again. It's like, what type of feedback do you want? And does the player have the opportunity to give that feedback? Maybe they only want 100 people in the ETS. Maybe they want to keep the circle small. I don't know. And that's why they put it on the NDA. It's just like, I'm very aware of, I don't see the entire picture, but the picture I see just doesn't make a lot of sense. And it feels like it causes unnecessary confusion and drama and frustrations.
There's no picture, because there is no picture. They're winging it like a lot of other things. And it's like, that's okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, like here's what I would do in their situation, which I begged them to do forever.
Yeah.
And I lost interest, this is absolutely what would be the perfect thing, the perfect strategy. You try to get together maybe about 50 people that are like known, vetted folks. I'm sure it would be like 60% content creators that are like respected in the community that, whatever. And then like 40% some other community members. They might be mods in the Discord or for streamers, or they're active on like whatever. Maybe they have to sign up and there's a fucking interview. I don't know, whatever. But a small group, they literally signed legit, real, legal NDAs.
We will sue you, NDAs.
And what you do is you say, okay, Saturdays, every Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, we are going to have an update. Everybody get together and we have a game jam. And we all test everything out. Everybody is in a Discord call. We're all experiencing a whole bunch of stuff. You play for 2 or 3 hours. Before that happens, you should have an idea of what is being tested.
Yeah.
What are things to look out for? What are things to pay attention to? You should prepare some questions, whatever. Like a fucking focus group.
Yeah.
And then after you play for the 2 hours, there's a 1 hour call after the fact. That's a debrief where there's 2 people with clipboards that work for BSG that are sitting there typing, taking notes, whatever. And everybody's like, I went to do this and this felt weird. I went to do this. And and then because if I was a part of that, I'd be able to say like, you guys maybe should think about adding the double tap button press for this thing, because it's not really intuitive. Like some of those really simple things that could make a massive difference. And yet, if I were to submit a bug report or like email or put into the Discord, it would just get buried.
Yeah.
Like, but as soon as I was like, the kinds of ideas that make a difference in that they are issues that are experienced by lots of people. When you have a group call, what you end up having is I would say, hey, I think you guys should do this very minor tweak with like control clicking over stuff. It would make looting really much faster.
Yeah.
And then everybody would go, holy fuck, yeah. And then it was like, clearly that's like a crowd favorite, right?
Yeah.
Someone else would be, hey, whenever I went over and engaged with scavs in this part of streets, the game bogged down to 2 FPS. Oh, yeah, I experienced that too. Mm-hmm. You get so much more valuable feedback by having a group being able to bounce off each other. Then they get other ideas on how to make things better.
Yep.
And what BSG can take all of that in and then do what they want with it.
Yep.
They would get 1,000 times more valuable information.
Yep.
1,000 times just more information in general.
Yeah.
They would get far less dumb bullshit information.
Yep.
And then you'd also be able to get people into the swing of learning how you test things, how to give feedback, that whole process.
That's just.
Yep.
Instead, I'm sure they say, hey, there's an update on the server, go check it out. And a bunch of people probably play it, and then they fucking go to school or whatever.
Yeah.
And then nothing comes from it. It's similar to the bug reports. They got the bug report, and it's like, well, if you don't bug report, then what do you expect us to do? It's probably the same philosophy with the ETS. I'm guessing it's, well, if you didn't say anything, it must all be fine.
Yeah. That's kind of...
And it's never fine.
It's never fine. That's kind of how Star Citizen does it. They have their public, it's called PTU, Public Test Universe, but they have what's called Evocati, which is like a really small group of people. In Star Citizen world, everything is money. It's like if you've spent whatever amount on the game and you subscribe or something, you get into Evocati. I don't know. But it's like dedicated people. It's a small group of dedicated people that like are really, really, really into the project that are going to test. That is under NDA.
Nerd!
Yeah. That is under NDA. So they'll push an update to Evocati. They're the first people that get to test it. That's the small focus group of people that provide a bunch of feedback. Then
Sounds like a pasta dish.
Then it
Evocati!
Evocati. Then it gets pushed to the public test universe where anybody can, if they want to, then test it. And that's a great way to test like scale. If there's a new network thing or something and we want 10,000 people, we want 20,000 people, and then it goes live to the patch. And sometimes bugs persist all the way through, you know what I mean? But it's like something like that, where if there was like a super small amount of people that were under like a really, we'll sue you, you're trusted in the community NDA that can test new features, then you can push stuff to the ETS and make that public, make that not under NDA, because then you could get scale of something and then you push it out. And you know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, I don't know.
BSG is the husband that goes to marriage counseling and is on their phone the whole time not paying attention. Like, honey, I care. I want things to change. But it's like, well, then fucking do something about it. Prove it. Like, show me. Like, what are you talking about?
God.
Like, I genuinely think that they, like, Nikita's like, I want feedback, but then at the same time, like, none of them invest the time or the effort or the thought into actually getting valuable feedback.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Because I once again, I think that this year they have shown that they're willing to listen to feedback. There was like the recoil thing, that recoil patch, like that came from feedback.
Forced down their throat.
No, I know. Let me finish though, because I have a but to this. Like there was the recoil patch and everything, the movement, that all that changed. Like your video, that was huge. Trey's video. They've been more communicative of changes. Like they've been doing graphs and like patch notes with more smaller patches and saying like, here's the things we changed the money for this thing. Even them tweeting out the ETS. Once again, that was feedback I gave. I don't know if that was on the podcast or not. I'm not saying they listen to me. I think other people, but I'm saying I was in the boat of people that was like, tell us what's on the ETS, because then we know what you're testing and we can know, you can show us that you're working on the things that need to be worked on. So I think they're willing to accept feedback, but I think what you said earlier is absolutely right. They don't have any sort of real good pipeline to get good feedback and get that feedback to the right person. It's either no feedback and like random ass, angry tweets, or it's like weird, you have to do this and then open this form and then, log in with this and then go in the ARG and then you can submit the bug report. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's so convoluted that nobody does it. So it's like, if there was a better pipeline of like, who at BSG needs to hear the feedback and what's a way that everybody knows that you can get valuable feedback. I mean, that was your idea, right? Your idea around the ETS was like, your idea was around the thought of what's valuable feedback. Feedback is cool, but what's valuable feedback? And so your idea was a reverse engineer of that. Well, the most valuable feedback is going to come from a smaller group of people, not a larger group of people, in a setting where they could have more access to it and have more access. So that whole idea was a reverse engineered of what's the best type of feedback. That, how you came to that conclusion of that idea is what BSG needs to do. Feedback, whatever. Everybody can get feedback. Everybody's tweet is feedback. Everybody's highlight video is feedback. Everybody's, I make these videos where I'm like, I think the voodoo sucks and here's how I would fix it. That's feedback. But they need to identify what's good feedback and what's the type of feedback we want. And from that identification, reverse engineer a better pipeline. Because I do believe, once again, I feel bad because sometimes I do believe that somebody out there at BSG is trying. They're like, oh, we're tweeting better things, or we changed this thing. But then it's just like such this weird wave where like, oh, they listened to this, but that was kind of weird. They need to know what type of feedback they want, and they need to create a better pipeline to get that feedback so that they can listen to the right feedback.
Bro, there's a common thread to literally this and every other problem. They are a bunch of gun nut, talented animator dudes with game development experience. Period.
Yeah.
They don't know how to do any of the other shit that you need to do as a giant AAA kind of pseudo game development company, right? I'm sure they probably have HR nightmares. I'm sure they probably have fucking weird holiday parties, whatever. Right? Actually, they're probably rad.
They are.
But like all of the other shit involved, it's like I've ran my own company before. And it was like, oh, there's all this other shit. I don't know what the fuck to do about any of this. And you got to wing it and figure it out as you go. They started to make a game and they're like, fuck, we got to get feedback. How do we do that? I don't know. Fucking Sven, go work on it. Right. And it's like, he's not an expert on it. He probably just came up with some ideas on the toilet the next morning before he went in. None of it was like proper focused professionals who know what the fuck they're doing, making informed decisions about what's right and what's good and what's best practices and yada yada yada. They're just winging it, dude. They don't know what they're doing in so many facets. And they didn't know what they were doing with networking or anti-cheat. They didn't know what they were doing with a million other stuff, and they've slowly gotten better with a few of those things. Because you can't do something for fucking 6 years and not, get a little bit better at it. But what they haven't been doing that whole time is a whole lot of... They've gone through enough people and enough periods of like ups and downs when it comes to communicating that they still have no fucking idea how to communicate. They're changing every day, kind of what they're talking, what's their tone. One day we've got all of this great information coming from BSG, then we have 6 months of radio silence, and then Nikita tweets out like, I need a black dark web assassin to take out logical solutions. I'm paying Bitcoin, right? Like it's all over the place, dude.
They're
just winging it.
I get it. And the thing is that like, I don't think they need to like. This isn't Star Citizen, right? Like Star Citizen's, my grandchildren aren't going to play Star Citizen 1.0. I don't think they need to create like, because I think here's a counter argument. It's like they're trying to get to 1.0. They don't need to create systems and this server and that server and this server. And I don't think that they need to. I think that they can like. I think it just comes down to like, once again, identifying what they want and creating a better way of getting it. I don't think they have to create all these systems. It's a lot less complicated than I think people think it is. I think that the identity crisis is over there. I think it's what you said. They're trying to figure out how to do this as people who did not expect their game to ever have 200,000 concurrent viewers, millions of copies sold. And I can empathize with that. But at the same time, it's like, I also want to provide my feedback, right? And so I just think, if they knew what they wanted and communicated that, it could be provided better. I don't know. BSD, just call me, okay? I can help. Anyways. So before we move on, we've got like a tiny little bit of other Tarkov stuff to talk about. But before we move on, I do want to take a second and thank the second sponsor of this week's episode, and that is Birddogs. To put it simple, Birddogs make you look good. This is a brand we've been working with recently. These guys are hilarious. They make shorts and pants that are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, giving you a truly sculpted look. And so they've got all sorts of pants and swimsuits and swimwear and shorts. Their kind of thing is that they make like shorts that like have like underwear built into them, like the underlining, just really quick on and off. They're a real kind of like goofball type of company. Like their website is phenomenal. The names of their products are impeccable. We've got some
Uncle Bucks. I need to get me some of those, dude. The khaki shorts.
Yes.
That they're, dude.
The Lee, I did a lot of cocoa.
Bro, I'm all about
Alfred
like
Hitchcocks.
Jesus Christ. Dude, I'm all about the like the nice looking clothes that fool you into thinking that it's like dress up when they feel like sweatpants.
Yes. We have
that's
the technology.
A genre of clothes that I feel like is new. Yeah, like because before it was always you look good and are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Or you're comfortable and look like a fucking Twitch streamer.
Yes, 100%. And we have the technology now. And they do a lot of stuff in there. They've got like anti sweat wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry. The way that they're cut make them look really nice and look like the fancy, but because the material and it's stretchy, it's so much more comfortable than stuff that's normally kind of like a tailored fit. And that's kind of their thing. Look good, feel good, make it comfortable, make it cool. They've got, and like we said, they've got swimsuits as well. I think they call it they're a cloud knit fabric that looks just like khaki. Their pants look really, really nice. Their joggers are sick as well. So you can go to birddogs.com/pool and enter promo code POOL for a free Yeti style tumbler with your order. That is birddogs.com/pool for a free Yeti style tumbler. You won't want to take your bird dogs off. We promise you. Thank you, Bird Dogs, for sponsoring this episode.
Bro, every time we do a Bird Dog sponsor, I always do. You didn't watch Letterkenny.
Oh yeah, no, I don't watch. I haven't watched it.
There's
that's where all the Rickyisms come from, though, right? Isn't Ricky a character on Letterkenny?
That might be Trailer Park Boys.
That might be Trailer Park Boys.
I only say that because I've never seen Trailer Park Boys, and I don't think Ricky.
Okay.
That doesn't sound familiar, and I've seen all of.
It's all water under the fridge.
Anyway, you guys will have to. I don't know. Now I'm worried that maybe I'm missing something. Someone's gonna be like, "No, that definitely is Letterkenny."
Anyways, Bird Dog.
There's a scene in one of the episodes where the guys are wearing like these, they almost look like they're exercise, like bicycle kind of shorts, and they talk about how they've got a little pocket for your twig and berries, and the whole time, every time they talk about it, they're like, you just put them right in, and every time you say that, I always go, and I'm like, someone's gonna get that reference every time.
Oh,
someone's gonna get it, and it's not gonna be Jesse.
No. I think it is Trailer Park Boys that I was thinking of with the Rickyisms and all the little. Anyways, which I haven't seen a single episode of either show, and I'm sorry.
Letterkenny's worth watching.
Okay, good to know.
That's one of those ones where you like if you watch, like I remember seeing like a YouTube short or something way back in the day. It was like one of the short little skits, and I remember being like, "What is this weird like, kind of like Mormon?" Like autistic, like I'm like, what is this character? Like I just don't understand who the character. Yeah. And then you just realize that like it was just like happened to be the way that the guy dressed and like his mannerisms. What I'm talking about is some people will know when they're throwing the baseball back and forth, talking about, I can't remember exactly, but it might involve butt stuff. And it's just like they're throwing the baseball back and forth. I'm like, it gave me vibes similar to what was the movie with the really awkward geeky dude?
Napoleon Dynamite.
Wow, yeah. I didn't even have to talk about like Tupperware sales. It gave me like Napoleon Dynamite kind of vibes, where I'm like, what? Like, what the fuck is this show? And it's nothing like that. It really isn't. But in like a good way.
Yeah.
Like I actually like Napoleon Dynamite, but you ever just watch like a trailer or you watch a thing and you're like,
that wasn't what the show.
Yeah.
It gives you the wrong impression of what the game is, and which honestly is the case for so many of like my favorite forms of media.
Yeah.
Whether it was the Outer Wilds.
Oh yeah.
That was one of those ones that like just completely different vision. When I saw the game, I'm like, I have a picture in my head of what this game is, and I don't want to play it.
Yep.
And then I played it, and it's nothing like that, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Letterkenny, and like I have a picture of what the show is like, and it was nothing like that.
Letterkenny. All right.
Yeah, it's worth checking out.
I need another TV show, so I actually might start binging through that. Only other Tarkov worthy news is they ended the boss event, which was a womp womp because that was like the best event we had in a while. But we got a new event, Veritas. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this peak Tarkov event?
Where Nikita invokes everybody's NDAs, and
yes.
we all got calls and emails from his lawyers.
Yes. Okay. We got a new quest called like Under the Influence or Chemical Effect. I don't remember what it's called. It doesn't matter. And you have to kill 30 PMCs.
Wow, already starting off with a fucking
30,
classic,
maybe,
with a fan favorite. Kill 30 PMCs. Okay,
20 or 30 PMCs.
Cool. What time of day? Where and with what? Tell me. I can't wait.
While under the influence of the Obdolbos stim. Okay, Obdolbos 1, not 2, because there's 2 in the game now. Obdolbos 1. Mm-hmm. But here's the deal. They changed the stims. Okay? They changed Obdolbos 1 that when you take it for 30 minutes, you take 1,000% more damage. Also, if you die, it resets the quest. Yeah, baby. So, yeah, that was the event, which spawned a kind of like conversation in the community again, because if you have max immunity, this is like the third wipe in a row now. They've done some sort of event that affects, it's a status effect. If you have elite level immunity, I think you have a 50% chance or like a 70% chance to just not get any negative side effects of anything. So a few people completed the quest really early on day one, and it's because when they were taking Obdolbos stims, they weren't getting the plus 1,000 damage.
If you take a second one, does it overwrite the first one? Can you just keep taking them until like you get a good one?
Oh, until you like proc the good one? Maybe, I don't know. But at that point, if you have max immunity, it was basically just kill 20 PMCs in one life, which for some of these Giga Chads, you know what I mean, you put on a Zabralo and a Risti, and you can do that. You know, I couldn't do it relatively easy, but some people could, you know what I mean? Just grinding factory. And then that kind of like, people were talking about the skills, and listen, in my opinion, all 7 of the people with max immunity have max immunity because they're good enough at the game and they play it enough that they could do it, right? Like Glorious did it, and he was responding to some people on Twitter because some people were kind of like, you know, he didn't really do it. He didn't deserve it. It's like Glorious could slap me around at 10 out of 10 times. He's just like one of the best in the business. Yes, he had max immunity when he did it. He's probably one of 10 people I would think could do it even without max immunity. So like, I'm not mad at Glorious. It was just like another interesting thing with the challenge, because so few people cared to do it except for the people who got to do it by not engaging with the mechanic, right? Like it was just so scum. Like 10 people got this quest done and 7 of them had max immunity. You know what I mean? It was like just such a weird, and we went from the boss event into that, and everybody was just like, bro, what the hell? So it was weird, man. Oh, by the way, max immunity, I'm 2,000 raids into this wipe. I'm level 66. It's the highest I've ever been in Escape from Tarkov, what do you think my immunity level is?
I can't even begin to.
9.
I'm so out of touch.
9.
So I'm guessing that that's just because you haven't spent like a full week and a half, 8 hours a day on stream, doing whatever the one thing is over and over again that levels that up, like maybe taking some dumbass stim or like snorting to Shanka or like I don't.
Yeah, that's the one. It's anything that any stim or food that gives you a negative side effect. So like +1 strength, -1 stress resistance. As long as some soft skill gets affected negatively as a result of something you either eat, drink, or take in a stim, you have to survive the duration of that thing. So max energy gives you +10 energy, plus like 5 hydration. It's like strength +1 for 300 seconds, stress resistance -1 for 300 seconds. You have to take that and live for 300 seconds. And when the negative side effect falls off, you get a little bit of points in immunity. So, Glorious tweeted about it.
So he just pops like he pops like 3 stims at the beginning of every raid, one of which happens to give him this thing. He wipes every lobby and then leaves.
Yes, you basically it's about 4,000 raids of making sure that every single raid you're popping a Meldonin or taking a max energy and surviving through the negative thing every time for 4,000 raids. Which realistically is like, that's why I'm 2,000 raids in.
That so that when they pull this jackass like wank of a fucking quest out of their ass event, then it'll be slightly easier.
It was the same thing. I think it was last wipe. It was one of the recent wipes. They did a pre-wipe event where everybody spawned in with the toxin. Do you remember that? You spawn in and you're gonna die in 5 minutes.
I remember hearing about it.
And you're gonna die in 5 minutes. And the antidote stims come down in airdrops. And so everybody was fighting over the airdrop. You get the airdrop, you take the stim, you buy yourself 5 more minutes. Honestly, it was one of the most fun events. It was one of the more creative and fun events that I had seen. But during that event, if you had max immunity, you just didn't spawn with the poison. So you could just like run around and do whatever you want. Everybody else is playing a different game than you. Everybody else is playing a different game than you. And it's the same thing. So it's like, and Meldonins are like 50K, 60K on the flea market. And that's these people. So it's like, step 1, have, 8 billion rubles to buy 4,000 Meldonins. Step 2, never die. Step 3, be in your raid for 10 minutes until the Meldonin negative side effects wears off. Do that 4,000 times.
When the circle comes in Warzone, you have like a perk that's like hazmat suit that just lets you stay outside infinitely and take no damage.
Yeah.
You just walk around while everybody's panicking, running away, and you just, yeah.
See, it's happening again. You're like full slideshow right now.
What? Really?
Yeah. On my Video Ninja as well. Like not just in my OBS preview, on my Video Ninja. You just went I'm getting
sorry, kids.
I'm getting 1 frame per 3 seconds. So yeah, man, I don't know. That event is the most scuffed. I don't know whose mouth that came out of. I don't know whose idea that was, but like the rewards weren't even that good. It's so weird. It's so dumb. And just like, dude, I don't know. Super weird. And then you know what else is weird is that a part of this event, which I don't even know if you call it an event, was that they also took away. So they made the Obdolbos 1 negative side effects plus 1,000% damage, right? Which effectively means if you get shot, you're dead. If you get shot anywhere in your body, you're dead. Any round in the entire game. They also changed Obdolbos 2. And the Obdolbos...
I'm loving that you have to continuously pronounce a word that's inscrutable.
I don't know the pronunciation.
It's come on, everybody, let's go.
Yep.
I've never. Now I want a Obdolbos. Okay, I'm literally. I typed OBLOLOSSOLSS Tarkov, and Google will figure it out.
Obdolbos.
Is it Obdolbos or Obdolbos?
I don't know.
Obdolbos.
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 Obdolbos. Mr. Lova. Yeah.
Obdolbenable snowman.
Yes. Anyways, they changed. I don't know the wiki. I don't know how to view the history of it
Oh, I do.
because.
I do. I know how to view histories of wikis.
Uh,
Pause champ on the
oh, I got it. Okay.
No Man's Sky video that will come out 8 years from now. But man, I'll tell you, I've never gone deeper, balls deep into a fucking wiki history in my life,
I
dude.
believe that with all my heart.
I'm
Oh,
trying to solve
okay.
a goddamn murder.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. So, as a part of this event, so the quest is literally kill PMCs under the influence of Obdolbos 1. That's it. That's the whole quest. That's the whole event. But simultaneously, what they did was they changed Obdolbos 2. Now, Obdolbos 2 in the past gave you 1,800 seconds of 80% extra damage except to your head. So Obdolbos 2 that's always how it's been, 80% additional damage. So it was like, it gives you a bunch of buffs and stuff like that, but it was like, dude, 80% extra damage, right? Well, as a part of the event, what they did was they just took that off of Obdolbos 2. So let me read to you what Obdolbos 2 does now. Well, it does the same things, but it just doesn't have any negative side effects anymore. Strength, endurance, perception, and attention, it's plus 20. So basically, if you're playing, it's max all those skills. Increases your maximum stamina and increases your stamina recovery. So it's an SJ6. It's a better SJ6. It gives you 4 skills close to max if you've been playing. Health regeneration, 2. It's 2 propitols for 1,800 seconds. Which is what, 30 minutes? And increases your weight limit. So it's a mule, an SJ6, 2 propitols, and gives you 20 levels in 4 skills. And now has no negative side effects.
Well, so wait a minute. Like, could that be part of this event? Is like, are they thinking that it's you crack these 2 stims every raid?
Yeah, maybe.
Like,
but still nobody's doing it.
But why aren't they doing it?
Because
wait, everybody.
Why? Because you still take 1,000% extra damage.
Oh, sorry. No, you mean nobody's doing the quest?
The quest. Yeah, nobody's doing the quest.
Not like no. I'm like no, people are taking Obdolbos 1, but not 2. Like, what do you fucking mean?
The event.
This has to be the new meta.
The event.
Nobody's doing the event, but they're all taking this new crack.
Exactly. Yes. The event hit, and the event hit, and Obdolbos 1 went from 40,000 rubles on the flea to 1 million rubles on the flea. And then everybody realized how stupid the event was, and now they're 30,000 rubles on the flea. Obdolbos 2 went from like 60,000 rubles to like 40,000 rubles because nobody cared about them. And then everybody realized that that's the good stim, and now those are 400,000 rubles on the flea.
Can you buy them from traders at all?
No.
Or?
You can find them in raid, and you can buy them off the flea. If you run streets, I find a decent amount of them. I mean,
so if you've got green key card or whatever, you're probably rolling in it.
Oh,
right?
yeah, or black. Yeah, if you got black key card, you're crushing right now.
Oh yeah, black.
But like, dude, it's fun. You take that at the beginning of the raid, and it's 30 minutes of 2 propitols, an SJ6, and a mule. You're flying, bro. It's
almost like
flying.
Imagine if the game was just like that. Imagine if the game was just fun all the time.
You could
dude.
just move.
Oh my God, that'd be wild if the game was just fun.
Wouldn't that be
by
crazy?
default.
Yeah. So, dude, it's crazy because I was just like praising them. I was like, guys, this boss event, it's so good. This was like one of the best events you guys have done. You love it. And then the patch came and they were like, we're not taking the event away. Everyone was like, yes, like, I'm so glad this event's so fun. They kept it up for a few more days. They took it down and they were like, kill PMCs while taking 1,000% extra damage because we asked you to. I don't know, because there was a cool 8-second video clip on Twitter.
Did I not?
So scuffed.
Like, there's no way that after last week's episode I didn't even snarkily say like
like, oh yeah, the next event they're going to come out with is going to be the most. I must have had.
Imagine what you said was
sounds
like
me.
Imagine what you said. We should review the tape, because what if you were like, imagine the next event they just freaking 10x or 100x the amount of damage you take, and somebody was like,
That's the thing is that like that sounds exactly
I
like
know,
something I
that's
would
what I'm
say.
saying. We got to review the tape, bro.
Yo, throw the red flag.
Yeah. And like my question is just like, who is this event for? Do you know what I mean? Like they made a video for this event.
It's for BSG. They give the kid the iPad, and they're having they're having mommy daddy time.
Yeah.
They're like, here, fuck
Dude,
off for a bit. Like,
I don't know,
shut up.
it's crazy. Like media had to be created for this. Flavor text, like, so that 18 people could accomplish this task.
The interns do that.
Like, I don't know. It was crazy.
The guy, the Blizzard guy they hired.
Oh my God.
He's the one writing the copy for this, and also passing it through the Google Translate.
God.
He's Ted. That would be a very BSG appropriate way of the what's the phrase? Separation of powers. No. Distribution of responsibility. It'd be like, all right, we just hired this like hotshot game designer from Blizzard or whatever.
Go make some events.
Yo, you got time to lean, you got time to clean. The mop bucket's in the fucking closet, kiddo.
How can we make our players feel as though we just kick them in the nuts as hard as humanly possible?
Yeah, at Blizzard, we have this philosophy where we're actually kind of dildos half the time too, but in a different way. But here at Battle State Games, we think about things a little bit differently.
Oh my God,
dude! I just watched this series where it's one of the guys who does like Critical Role, and he's like someone who I can tell is like a big name in a lot of different communities. That I'm sure. Sorry, I'm tired. I just went down like a weird introductory rabbit hole. Anyway, there's just this guy that does this thing where it's like he pretends to be the CEO of a bunch of different companies. Like, hi, I'm the CEO for Bank of America. Like, we're gonna take all your fucking money. We need one of those. Like, hi, welcome to Battle State Games.
Bro.
It's like the employee like what's the word for the thing, or orientation? The employee orientation video.
Yes. I think it's Big E. Is that the name of the guy who does it on Twitter? He's done it for like Twitch and Apple, and like here at Twitch, he did a huge dude.
This is someone different.
Dude, he's done a bunch of those for like Twitch. Here at Twitch, we take half of your money because we're in it together. Like, oh, they're so funny. Anyways.
Oh yeah, no, what's his name? The guy he does a bunch of college humor stuff.
Oh, okay.
What is his goddamn Brennan something? I went on a binge watching like every piece of content that this guy made. Brennan Lee Mulligan.
Wow, what a name.
Yeah, he does some D&D stuff on Critical Role. He's done college humor. Like overnight, I like watched like a shit ton of his stuff, and he seems like a pretty interesting guy. Totally unrelated, but
yeah, man, that is the Tarkov news and noteworthy things. That's it. Any other how's Diablo? You've been playing Diablo still? Mostly? Totally? 100%?
Yeah, 100%. Doing balls deep in that. But like literally, okay, dude. It is very rapidly becoming a Tarkov situation in that everybody thinks the world works one way. And everyone's wrong. Like,
this is a binaural Steam audio situation where nobody knew what the hell they were talking about, but it sounded right and it was regurgitated over and over again.
You know how long I sat and deliberated? First of all, I've redone the video I'm working on like 4 different times.
Okay.
Originally, it was going to be a beginner's guide. And then I realized that it was like an hour long and I was almost done with it. But I realized that I had to pepper in a bunch of kind of advanced topics.
Okay.
Because I wanted to like it just fit when I'm talking about everything and I cover some of the foundational stuff. It like makes a lot of sense to then cover some of the more advanced stuff. But the hard part is that what I was doing was I was watering down advanced concepts
with 35 minutes of the most basic beginner shit. Here's how an item is named. You know what I mean? Like that no veteran is going to watch. While at the same time being like, I promise if you keep watching, there's going to be interesting stuff in here that you're going to learn from. So I was like watering down the beginner content and bogging down the discussions about the more advanced stuff. And then in having all of these conversations, because I'm always previewing shit on stream.
Yeah.
I'm always, talking to, because I get excited about what I'm working on and I want to geek out about it.
Yeah.
And then I realized that nobody has any fucking idea how anything works in this game. And yet everybody is completely and utterly like they just know this is the way things work. Yeah. And they'll straight up tell you 2 + 2 = 5. And then 3 people will say, oh, but what about this? And they'll go, oh yeah, 2 + 2 = 5. And then everybody goes, oh shit, okay, cool, man, thank you. And I'm like sitting here like, what? Like, no. And then I go and search for something, and then a video pops up with a guy saying 2 + 2 = 5. And then a bunch of people all commenting saying, wow, dude, I used to think 2 + 2 = 7, but now it equals 5. And someone's like, no, it actually equals 7. Check out this Reddit post. And I see a Reddit post where someone's like, 2 + 2 = 9, dude. And I'm like, nobody has any fucking idea. Everybody. So
yeah,
I hate to do the fucking Veritas trope of, let me tell you how you're wrong. Let me correct you. Like, but like, I can't help it when people just walk around saying, like,
2 + 2 is
we
7.
didn't land on the moon. I there's only so many times I can hear that before I'm like, okay, let's have a fucking conversation. Here's how I know we landed on the moon, okay? So,
I get it.
So basically, and then part of what is making me pivot was your amazing title idea.
Hey-o. Oh, yeah, because this fits even better for this type of...
So what I ended up doing was I had 2 videos crammed into one. Yeah. And I was getting more and more upset, annoyed, and passionate that all the veterans don't fucking know what's going on either.
Yeah.
They're just so wrong about the most basic shit. It's like what the Tarkov equivalent is. They're saying you never want to use 855A1.
Yeah.
Never pick it up. Never use it. You need 995. That's what you want to look for. You need 995 and you need HKs. So if you're new, you want to start looking for HKs right now.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's not helpful, good advice. Like,
it's like when way back in the day, it's been a long time, but like, remember when everybody was like, pen was the most important thing? Like at all costs, it was like 70 pen. It's all about pen. Pen's more important than damage. Like, because it was easy to just kind of say like, yeah, you want something with the highest pen possible. And then everybody was like,
people want
7 damage, 90 pen, let's go. And everyone was like, we had to be like, no. You know what I mean? But yeah, you're right. People want a rule.
And one of the biggest problems is there's like 5 different rules that people say. And every one of them is 42% correct.
Yeah. Or correct in a certain context.
But if you understand the way that the systems work and the way, then you would recognize that none of them are true. And if you think that way, you're just reinforcing that you don't understand how the system actually works.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So basically, I've kind of pivoted from the whole idea of like you're playing Diablo wrong, which like top tier title, but didn't apply to like you're a beginner.
Yeah.
But also, so what I ended up doing, and like I've literally redone. I have the video that's like an hour long, and I like took like sections, moved them out, wrote a script, redid a bunch of voiceover to make it fit. And then like that doesn't work really. So then I took out like a chunk of that, dragged everything over, moved it all over here, put it and like 4 times, and now it's you do not understand. Wait, what was it? It's like you do not understand Diablo items or something like that. It was basically just straight up being like, you don't fucking understand.
Yeah.
And it starts off with a pop quiz. what's the, such and such and such a thing? Is it A? Is it B? And I'm like, do I want to do a Google Doc just so I can gather the data so that when everybody who's like, I thought that all along, even though when I ask people, the only people that get any of the questions right on any of the questions I ask are the ones that have been in my stream listening to me ranting about it for the last week.
Yeah.
You ask anyone else and they'll give you one of 3 incorrect responses.
Yeah. That's dope.
And it's infuriating because then I have to sit and listen to the bad advice given to people that is an oversimplification, that all it does is reinforce a lack of understanding in the underlying systems that are important to your success in the game.
Yep. Bro.
So
you gotta, dude, then you gotta get Asmongold to react to it. That's
the thing, because now it's a little bit more like you don't understand.
Yeah.
And it starts off with a little bit of a quiz, and the way that the quiz is designed is it literally takes every trope, every preconceived notion that players have, and it just puts it out there. It's like, should you ever use 855A1 or should you always use 995? And it's like, well, of course it's going to be always, like I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not hoping, because of course I want people to like know the right answer, but like what my expectation is and what would be the perfect like landing of this would be if Asmongold goes, or a bunch of people go and they take the test, and these people who are veterans who know what they're doing and are very good at these games and are super smart realize they can't answer a single question.
Yeah.
They can't answer a single one. They might know these systems, but they don't know the systems.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between, I'm good with ballistics, right? Okay, I'm good with ballistics. I know that like 995 has more pen than 855A1, that has more pen than 856A1. It's a tracer, and but if I say, okay, well, if you have a level 5 armor at 50% durability and you shoot it with BP round and it fragments, how much damage is their thorax going to take? If you fucking know, then you go, 17.4 damage.
Yeah.
Now, you're not required to know that.
To play or have fun in the game, yeah.
But what that does is it demonstrates that these people who think they know and understand, it's simple, right? It's simple. 60 or 30 pen ammo can never penetrate class 5 armor. It's like, well, no. There's always a statistical chance. It might be 1% when it's full durability, but let's say they got in a fight with scabs and it's at 10% durability.
Yep.
Well, now it's going to pen. So then when the person who has the class 5 armor gets shot and they go, what the fuck, dude? I got killed with PSO. The game's fucking broken. And it's like, no, you just don't understand how it works.
Exactly. Yep.
So when people say the biggest thing with Diablo, it's all about itemization, and it's their fault, because what they have is, at some point as you progress, there are sacred items. It's like the new items that are like another tier, right?
Okay. Yeah. That's
when you get to like the 3rd difficulty. Once you get to the 4th difficulty, suddenly now you start getting the ancestral items.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And the thinking is, well, ancestral, it's a different color. It's all shiny. It looks better. The numbers are bigger. They're just better. The problem is that if the stats on them were categorized like this is sacred and this is ancestral, you could easily say you probably just want to avoid picking up ancestral and pick up,
or avoid sacred.
Sacred and pick up ancestral.
Yeah.
But instead, they're like this.
Yeah.
So there are ancestral items that are literally worse than some sacred items, and the biggest thing is that sacred items, like the top end of sacred items, are indistinguishable from the best in class ancestral. They will have exactly the same stats. The thing is that ancestral and sacred, they are labels that if they remove them from the game, nothing would change, because they don't do anything.
Yeah.
There's like item power, and there's item tiers, and there's breakpoints, and there's all these other variables, and that determines all of the stats. And ancestral is just like a name that's on most of the higher level stuff.
Yeah, just a label.
And sacred is on a name that's on most of the mid to high level stuff that overlaps with it. But it's like, it doesn't mean
That makes so much sense because people love labels. They want the color, the color coded. Always pick up purples, never pick up blues. You know what I mean? So like,
and the biggest thing is that it's like these games, ARPGs, and a lot of games like this. It all comes down to numbers. You are spending thousands of hours trying to grind for like the 1% perfect roll on the thing.
Yeah.
When you have an item, you want the maximum. On a sword, you want to try to get the highest damage.
Yep.
And then on the sword, there's critical strike chance, critical strike damage, vulnerable damage, and like strength. You want those 4 things out of like 100 things. You want those 4. So you have to get like a 1 out of 100 chance, 1 out of 100 chance, 1 out of 100 to get the right collection. And you want those stats to be
as close
they can
to
be
the
from
max.
60 to 80%. You want 80%, right? You want the top rolls.
Yep.
It's all a numbers game because it's all roll of the dice.
Yep.
And when it comes to the lottery, would you rather have more lottery tickets or less lottery tickets?
Yep. More lottery
So
tickets.
the thing is that people say it's not even worth picking up the sacred items. Don't even pick them up. Just pick up the ancestral items. And the problem with that is, if you look at my gear now on my character, that's like, end game character, both my characters that are like, level 80 to 100 in that range. Super, super powerful, more powerful than the average player's character of the thing. It's not like the best in the world, right? But we're talking about the difference between 10 million and 13 million. It's like they have 700,000 HP. Like it doesn't matter. For most purposes, half of my items started off as sacred items with like low item power numbers, but like the item power doesn't matter for certain things. Like it matters for a sword because it changes the damage, but like on a ring, it doesn't have any meaningful effect on the stats, but it can still get the maximum like critical strike chance, and that's all that matters. So the fact is that if you're like, I've been looking for a better ring forever and I can't find any, and yet
you've been leaving behind sacred rings,
you just leave it there. So basically the whole point of this entire thing is me saying, like, you don't understand what the labels or the numbers mean. I'm going to explain to you how they work. And how that can be a massive advantage, and how ultimately if you had the choice, if you could buy a lottery ticket, there's $1 million jackpot, right? If you could buy one lottery ticket that had a 7% chance of winning the $1 million, or 10 lottery tickets that all had 1% chance of winning, what would you rather do?
10 lottery.
And in Diablo, everybody would say, give me that fucking fatty Uber Chad,
7%.
Giga Chad, 7%, but it's like, well, if you run the numbers on it, which, like I said, this is all a numbers game, you're going to pick up thousands of items. You want the denominator to be as big as possible.
Yeah.
But, they pick up a sacred item and they say, this number is so low. Well, yeah, but you pick up 9 more and one of them might just be higher than what you have.
Yeah.
Half of my items started off as items that nobody would ever pick up, and I've had them from level 60 to level 90, and I've never found anything better.
Yeah.
And what makes it worse is that, like, if you take a sacred item, you can like imprint an enchantment thing on it. That if the enchantment came off of an ancestral, then the item then changes to ancestral.
Oh.
So then everybody always sees everybody's got all ancestral items, and it's like
some of those started
but they're
as
all
sacreds.
sacred items.
Interesting.
Which is another demonstration that it's meaningless, because you're changing the label and nothing else changes about the item.
Oh.
So it does nothing.
Yeah.
So
that makes a lot of sense that the confusion would be there, because people want that clear cut, this better than that. You know what I mean?
And the developers are kind of shooting themselves in the foot, because when they give you something that's an item power number, you would assume that the item power is about how powerful the item is, and it's not. That's not how it works.
Damn,
it's not how it works.
When do you think this updated 4th revision video will be out?
I'm hoping to get it done by like Saturday night. I could maybe finish tomorrow. It should be shorter, because I don't have to talk about. I can talk to them like they're adults. You know what item power is. I don't have to put a box around the number and tell you
Yep.
the history of the, whatever, right?
No,
I can just
that
be
makes
like, we all
sense.
know item power. Cool. You guys all know breakpoints. Cool. What do you think is the top breakpoint? Everybody will be like 825. And I'll say, you're wrong. There's no breakpoint there. It doesn't exist. It's 725. Here's how I can prove it to you. And like, it's just a whole bunch of, let me give you clear examples that show you why.
I like it. Hell yeah. I want to watch it.
It should be short. It should be short and to the point, which honestly, like, part of the reason why I want to make it short, make it to the point, and make it not boring is because, like, it's the whole, like, Asmongold could watch it. And honestly,
yeah,
I almost feel like there's no way. Maybe this might be like hubris. I don't know. But I just feel like this is one of those videos that I think kind of will rock the boat, like Tarkov videos do. When I make a video and I'm like, hey, guys, you all are wrong about shit.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, let's see. But then I present the data in a way. Yeah. I don't like attack people or call them stupid.
Yeah, of course.
It's just like, it's not your fault. Let's all understand this together. Really, the only downside, the only way that this kind of thing backfires is how everybody is like, we all knew this before.
Yeah.
When I promise you they don't.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
So.
That's exciting, man. That's dope.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to I just need it fucking done.
Yeah. I want to watch it. I'll watch it for sure.
Oh, and I tweeted. Oh, and the best part was fucking Diablo, like the Diablo Twitter account. They just fucking tweeted. One of my mods, fucking Overskilled, posted it. He goes, "Oh God," and I'm like, "Oh God, here we go." It's a picture of. It says sacred items, ancestral items, and it's like sacred items found in world tiers 3 and 4, 5 upgrades, increased item power. Ancestral items found in world tier 4, 5 upgrades, even more item power. And then the tweet says sacred and ancestral gear could be the difference between victory and death in Diablo 4. And I like quote tweeted it and was like, I'm coming out with a video, like public service announcement. These things don't work like you think they do. Like, don't sleep on the sacred items, blah, 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 blah.
Damn.
And then the first person to reply was Shroud.
Oh, shoot.
And we had like a back and forth where in so many words, it was basically like 95% of like we were in agreement with a couple of things that were basically just like Twitter misunderstandings about kind of what we mean. And also, honestly, like hearing his feedback, I recognize how like some of my wording was a little clumsy, and now I can make sure I have a couple extra caveats in the video.
There you go. Yeah.
So that I don't fall for that thing. Oh, here's the best thing. I'm putting this in fucking chat. As I scroll down and I see this fucking dude, 146 likes, 4,600 views. He takes the picture, scratches out sacred items, and like on MS Paint writes useless. Wasted bag space, vendor items, and and I can't wait to be like, bro, you.
Oh my God.
You've passed up. I'm hoping at the end, what I'm basically going to do is I have a picture of like the God Ring. It's like, it's got the 4 stats you want, and they're all perfect. I found it in like the Diablo trading Discord. It's sold for like hundreds of millions of gold. Like, it's just like the God Ring. And I just put a little box over the item power and over the quality. And I'm not going to tell anybody if it was sacred or ancestral or what the item power is, because it could be both. You look at it and there's no way to know, but it's the God Ring, best in slot. There's no difference between if it was ancestral or legendary. Ancestral or sacred.
Yeah.
And basically I want to say, okay, you're in the pursuit of the God item. That's why we play this game, right?
Yeah.
Well, just know that this could be on the ground. And I don't say that. I say, know that this item could be a sacred item.
Yeah. That you just walk right
So just think about that the next time you see the sacred ring drop. And I have a feeling people are going to be like, well, now I got to check.
Yep.
It's like you can't see a scratch ticket. If you're sitting there at a restaurant and a scratch ticket blows up at your foot, unless it's grimy or wet or nasty, I'm probably going to pick up the scratch ticket and just look at it just to see.
Yep.
you never know, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah, we'll see.
Dude, that's interesting. I love it. That's fascinating. I want to see it.
So hopefully I don't become like there's a universe in which like I get hated in the community for this. Like there's a universe in which it plays out like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think.
No, yeah.
First, I don't think it would be fair, but also but that's always kind of in the back of my head.
Yeah.
You know,
if you want to rock the boat, there's a chance that people
it's not
Yeah.
People don't like to be told that they're wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to get a little bit humbled. And I love to be told I'm wrong if the people can show me I'm wrong, because then I learn something.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
You know?
100%.
The problem is that most of the time
people don't want that. That's sick.
We'll see. We'll see.
That's dope. Well, bro, I don't know what to do, man. The past like 5 minutes, you've been slideshow again.
No.
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
Right now?
Yeah.
Am I frozen?
Bro, it fixed as soon as you started waving again. Yo, what the hell? Almost like
it might be like an encoding thing. Maybe I'm sitting still for too long.
50%
and it just...
of that Diablo conversation, it was busted, and you started waving at it, and it worked again. That's super weird.
Yo, that's wild. I honestly wonder if it's like an encoding thing.
I don't know.
It just gets bogged down.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I wish in the Video Ninja, if there was like a quality settings or like a...
There is a bitrate setting, and the first thing I do is turn it all the way up.
Where is it? Oh, do you only have access to that as the director of the room? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We'll see. I mean, it was chill. It was better this week than last week, but yeah, I don't know. Anyways. One day there will be an audio video app that will be made that will just work. LOL. But yeah, so that's the podcast for this week. We actually got some Tarkov stuff. I'm super excited about the Diablo video. We'll see what happens. We're still waiting on. There's lots of balls up in the air with Tarkov, Arena, Unity. What? Balls?
Grow up!
Arena, Unity, patch point 14, updated roadmap. I don't know, but I've been having fun. So, and fun is all that matters. I'm having fun playing Tarkov. You having fun playing Diablo. We're having fun playing video games. That's good. So, thank you guys as always for the support. It's been crazy. I feel like every week, dude, more people come in and they're like, yo, love the podcast, which is just like warms the heart.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for hanging. If you missed part of it or most of it, this will be live on all the podcast platforms and on YouTube on Monday morning. Thank you guys so much for hanging, and we'll definitely see y'all on the next one. Peace.